Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining us tonight with zero promotion. Um, yeah, I have this horrible habit of just deciding to live stream, not telling anybody about it, and showing up. If you're watching the replay on tonight's stream, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for a little replay action. Okay, I'm gonna put the chat actually into the lower corner because it's taking up a lot of space. Um, I'm experimenting. Okay, I'm experimenting with a few new themes for tonight's stream. I'm gonna turn the volume down just a little bit more. Hi, hello. How is everyone doing tonight? How are we? I hope we're all doing well. How are things? How's stuffs? As you can see, we have a new beautiful World of Warcraft filtered chat today. I've never actually played World of Warcraft, but I just kind of vibed with it. I'm hoping tonight. So the last time I did a stream on both YouTube and Twitch, somebody requested that we could have a combined chat from both YouTube and Twitch up on the screen at the same time. So hopefully tonight we have accomplished that. I let it not be said that I do not listen to the requests of the people. So I'm hoping that all of this is working tonight. Fingers crossed. Yeah. I hope you're all doing well. So the agenda for tonight is super specific and really well planned out. This is a post video live stream. I always like to do a live stream after I release a new video, so it's a space where we can process that video if we want to. We can also just hang out. It's a space where you can ask me questions if you want to. You don't have to. We can just hang out, stare at each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We don't really have a big agenda. We are predominantly just hanging out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for showing up. For those of you who are here, it is truly tragic how much I just do not promote anything that I've been doing ever. I was literally talking to my boyfriend like 5 minutes ago. I was like, should I even do this stream? Because I didn't tell anyone that I was doing it. So for those of you who have showed up on short notice with no promotion, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I've now turned the music down too much, and I want her a little bit. Maybe like right about here? Maybe? Okay, no, wait, a little bit less. She's a professional. I'm very good at streaming. Hello, Live a Lot. Hello, Anatolian Plum. I mean, you do stream every Wednesday. In theory, I do stream every Wednesday. Have I been doing that this month? No. But in my defense, I have been working around the clock to get the new video out. So I have had like a reasonably good excuse. Reasonably. Samantha Duke says, not gonna lie, I haven't watched the video yet. Want to give it the attention it deserves, and I'm on new pain meds. Girlie, you have like the best excuse out of anybody. Do not even worry about it. Don't even stress for 2 seconds. Just you're so good. Oh shoot, it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I need to watch my news, dudes. We can do your news here. Do you want me to go through the news? I'll talk about the news. I'll be your news lady tonight. Sorry, let me pull the chat up just a little bit there so you can see a bit more on screen. I feel like I should be showing more chat messages on the screen simultaneously. Maybe that's something I can adjust for the next stream. I do apologize, as with The last stream was my first time ever streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. So this is my second time. So we're still finessing things. We're still figuring out what works well. And yeah, sorry, I feel like there's a few other people I haven't said hello to. Janice Austin says, love your work, sad I can't stay. Thank you. And don't worry about it at all. In your defense, you got no notice of tonight's live stream at all. So yes. Hello, Robert Love. Hello, Allison Olhava. Just started my hour lunch break. Lovely. Thank you for the follow. Having trouble reading your username because I chose a difficult to read font. But hello, thank you for following. Hello, Ben Richardson. Hello to anyone I have not said hello to yet. Tier list? Oh my god, we're not doing a tier list tonight. This song is too elevator music. I need something else. That's good. That's nice. Okay. Death died today. Firstly, great username. Says happy Pride Month, y'all. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Happy Pride Month. I feel like we can appreciate Pride Month even more now that rainbow capitalism has been defeated. The final boss of DEI is dead. I have it in my to-do list to make a video on the death of DEI because it's something I'm really intrigued and also conflicted about. Rest in piss, rainbow capitalism. Goodbye. Robert Love says, I was going to mow grass, but it's too wet after the rain and it's too early in the day to shoot zombies. Well, thank you for being here instead, Robert. I hope I'm as entertaining as shooting zombies. I'm not sure that I am, but I'll do my best. I'll try. Tony Hypnosis says, I would love if you can talk about the news. Oh boy. Do you know, I actually think I did check the news today. We have this horrible, horrible story of this homophobic attack, which has left me seriously depressed, which, go figure, the police are reporting as not a hate crime. Because of course they are. What else is there? Lots of really, really depressing news right now. Lots of really sad, awful, depressing news. Fun times. But in all seriousness, I'm down to... I kind of want to do more news live streaming, so I'm into it. We can do it. Unprompted. Unprompted live on stream. Hassan who? Anatolian Plum says, who else be reading Stag Dance? Can you give me like a one line on this book? Because I've been hearing about it a lot from in the trans community. I'm curious about it. I want to know more about it. Right now, I don't know anything about it. But I've heard it's really good. Gnostic Daedra says, video is fun and monstrous, mostly moisturizing. Thank you. I'm glad that you liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. I've had like the most chaotic week because I like had such a breakdown over the weekend about the video not doing very well, and then changed the title and thumbnail and it actually picked up a lot and started doing a lot better. And it still has not performed amazingly well, but I feel like I've just been on the most ridiculous roller coaster. So if you've also seen like 5 different titles go out of me promoting this video and like 200 different thumbnails, no, you didn't. You didn't see anything. But yeah, sorry for the chaos. Tilly maybe says, in regards to rainbow capitalism, shame it died for the wrong reasons. This is where a lot of my complex feelings about the death of DAI comes in, because I'm like, it's nice to see rainbow capitalism getting its due, but then I also do feel really sorry for all of the queer campaigners and activists I know who have lost incomes, and yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated. Not the news. Okay. Maybe we don't want the news. Sam Septaka says I need to stop watching the news. I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I want to have ways to talk around the news, like to talk about general themes that are happening and to create awareness about stuff that isn't just purely doom and gloom. Here is this headline of this horrible thing that happened. Now I've ruined your day. You're welcome. Because we need to have the motivation to live. And I no longer have a news app on my phone, so that's been helpful for me. If I have to search the news, that's a deliberate action that I have to take now, and that's helped me reshape my relationship with news. That's gonna happen, by the way, every like 30 minutes. The camera's gonna do a little, and it's gonna catch me in an awkward little moment. Enjoy it when it happens. And yeah. Positive news, rumors of Hunter Schafer as Princess Zelda. I was one of the people who saw this come up, and I thought it was like a cast announcement, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I realized that it's not a cast announcement, nothing's official, but it's a great rumor. It's a really fun rumor, and very cool if so, and congratulations to her if so. Allison O'Hava says, where are you located that it's evening by you? Hello from Chicago. Hello, Chicago. I live in London, so that's where I am currently. Here in London, it is 7:38 p.m. I'm just gonna also turn the music down just the tiniest bit more. Yes, I live in London. I'm from California originally, but I live in London. I've driven through Chicago as a teenager. I've never been to Chicago, but I would love to visit as an adult. Yeah. Tanya Hypnosis says, thankfully, I am whimsical little wizard, so the news doesn't really hurt so much anymore. If you ever feel bad from news, practice being whimsical. Love the advice. A little easier said than done sometimes, but we can all use a healthy dose of whimsicality. Is whimsicality a word? Anyway, I'm a philosophy major. Yeah, that's a useful skill to have. I envy your little wizardness. I'm not always the best at being whimsical about news. Sometimes reading news ruins my day. I tend to read news now when I'm on the tube or something. Again, it's like, it has to be an active action. I have to seek it out now. And today I was reading some horrible stuff. Some truly miserable stuff. Tilly says the video is so good. I'm very proud. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I was quite confident it was terrible and everyone hated it and I should delete my channel, and now I'm less convinced of that, so that's good. Yeah, should we do a little thumbnail tour of the 500 thumbnails and titles I went through on Saturday? Here's the thing, I just want to say, like, it's okay if people don't like my stuff, and it's okay if my stuff doesn't do well. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I'm used to stuff not doing well. But this was a slightly different situation. It was the first time since I'd been making video essays that I had a video essay bomb. And it wasn't just being low on views, it was being, like, crushed on views. Like, the line was, like, flat. It wasn't going up, and I had been working on it for 7 months. I was like, this can't be happening. But Normally I'm much more like in an acceptance stage if stuff doesn't do well. I've had a few video essays not do well. This just felt like slightly different, and in this space where uh I feel quite a strong need to do well. So yes. Samantha says FD Signifier was right about titles and thumbnails. Always have extras just in case. Yeah, it's definitely a very smart thing to do in terms of marketing. And YouTube has this feature where you can like put up multiple different thumbnails and test them to see which ones get the most clicks. And I think part of what didn't really, I think that can also hurt you, because in my case for this video, I put up so many thumbnails as part of the test that some of them were just garbage, and they convinced YouTube that people didn't want to see the video, which as far as I know is not the truth. But yes. Should we talk about the video? Does anybody have any feelings about it? Any questions? Anything you would like to know? It was, I have a few things I would like to share about it. So firstly, one of the things I've been thinking about making a little like behind the scenes video about is that there's this scene in the bath scene where the line in the script is most of the time, like, I don't care if you are disgusted by my body, I love my body. And I wanted to just share about that line because that entire bath scene, I was having like a nonstop breakdown about my body. I was not feeling confident or good about myself at all. And then I got to that line in the script and I was like, I can't say this. And my boyfriend was like behind the camera and I was like talking to him and I was like, I can't say this line. This line is not true. And there's this like really, I almost wanted to do like a SpongeBob, like 3 hours later, where there's like me being like, I don't care what you think about my body. I love my body. It's perfect. And then me just like on the verge of tears, having this like breakdown in the bath scene. To be fair, doing a bath scene is very vulnerable. The lighting was terrible. The audio was really bad. And there's something very vulnerable about having a lot more skin on show. And speaking as a sex worker here, obviously I'm used to that, but then there's doing it for YouTube, which is something I don't usually do, where like all of a sudden I'm in a bathing suit and the cameras are there and I have to like be erudite and confident in delivering everything. And I guess I'm just sharing this because social media isn't real. But no, I just wanted to like, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I ended up changing the line as I was filming because I was like, this doesn't really feel super accurate. And also because I feel like I just want to always like be as honest as I can when interacting with the digital space. And sometimes, like lots of content creators, I put out work there that where I do the best to make myself feel the best and to project a confidence, and that isn't always a perfect, accurate display of reality. So the bath scene was so rough. We color graded it. I say we, I mean me, but like the production team of Marceline color graded that bitch like 5 different ways, so many different times. And I arrived on the final color grading. I don't know if this is interesting to anyone, but I arrived on the final color grading by accident. I accidentally doubled up the color preset and put 2 on top of it. And it was so oversaturated. And I actually thought, hey, this actually looks kind of really cool. And yeah, so then I was like, do you know what? I actually kind of love that this is this like uber duper hyper saturated mermaid-esque aesthetic. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're confused what that is, the viewers on Twitch, we are streaming on 2 platforms right now, and the viewers on Twitch can redeem little actions for me to do. And that was for me to hydrate, so I will hydrate. Thank you for the redeem. And in the end, having this super mermaid color grading actually made me feel like way better about myself, because I was like extrapolating away from like my body and being more like, this is art and this is fantastical, and that was nice. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, sorry. Let me get into the chat a little bit. I don't know if people have said stuff. I've seen a couple themes, but Daisy, firstly, hello, Daisy. Hello, my love. I miss you. Daisy says, I like the way it ended up. The grade fit the vibe really well. Thank you so much. Oh, I caught an error the other day that got into the live edit, where there's these little scenes where when I'm being like, the scenes with the snake, a lot of them are meant to be like extra monstrous. I do like the purple color grading, which by the way is a reference to The Color Out of Space, one of Lovecraft's tales. That's what it's called, right? Where everything's like purple in this, or at least that's how it's depicted in the film version. The film version's crazy. Oh, that was okay. We need to rein it in. I'm being very ADHD here. But I don't know if anybody's seen The Color Out of Space, the film, with it has uh what's his face? Nick Cage. Is that his name, right? I don't know any celebrity names, any actor names, but um it has Mr. Nicholas doing a Donald Trump interpretation as part of this Lovecraft story. And it's one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my entire life. And anyway, in Color Out of Space, the evil invading cosmic horror is like this purple color. So I thought it would be cool to have the kind of purple color grading with the snake when I was doing monstrous moments. And there's one bit that accidentally did not get color graded, which you can see. I want to say it's somewhere in either in the bath scene or in part 2. But little error there that got into the final edit, which is a shame, but you know, these things happen. So yes. What else can we say about the video? There was a few like silly bloopers and behind the scenes moments, and I'm trying to think what there was. If there's anything that I can share live on stream. The set for part 2 was a mess. Yeah, I had this vision of like the Studio Ghibli like cluttercore aesthetic, and I'm just like putting all of this stuff on my stairs, like literally just the stairs of my apartment, and it didn't quite eat as much as I thought it was gonna eat, but you know, we did our best. This is a zero budget production, but it was a very like funny couple of days where we were just walking and stumbling over all the stuff on the stairs because I had to have the set like in place for filming. Yeah, what else? What else? Yes. Someone today has informed me that a left tuber, a bread tuber by the name of Chill Goblin, who I'm vaguely familiar with and think is really cool, but don't really know super well, has already done a video about reactionary Lovecraft, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see this. And the most devastating thing is that his video got like over 100,000 views, and I'm like, cool, that's fine, but I'm happy with what I did, and it's a weird video. It's strange and all over the place, but I'm glad some people liked it. I appreciate that. Cluttercore aesthetic is a really charitable way of describing my ADHD looking ass living space. Y'all should have seen this bed before filming, before this live stream, I mean. This bed was just covered in clothes and things, and please just, I normally would cover my little dilation station here, and I just didn't for the live stream today, so it's cluttercore. It's cluttercore aesthetic. Yes. Okay, I'm just scrolling back through the chat. Gonna be quiet for a second, reading what y'all have said. Samantha, you have indeed seen the video because you left some really nice comments on it. Oh, that's really nice. Ulamu says, girl, you are so cool. Science is cool and amazing. Transsexual bodies are amazing and cool. And bigots are lame, boring, and dull. Love that comment. Thank you, girl. Appreciate it. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Sensory nightmare in regards to the bath, I presume. And yes, lots going on with that scene. I truly do not think I will ever film a bath scene ever again. It was so much going on. It was so hard to find a comfortable position because a lot of the times I'm also like trying to sit up and using like my entire core strength just to be like in a normal position that doesn't look super weird. Um it was very silly. It was very silly. And I did get very pruny. I was pruned up. um COB Gambling Channel says, just been approved for feminizing hormones. Should be getting them next week. Congratulations, my love. That's so exciting. Congratulations. I hope it goes well. Testia says, at least for me, the algo pushed the video probably because of Lovecraft. I was so like not sure how to advertise it because there are some videos about cosmic horror and about Lovecraft that have done really well. But I didn't really, yeah, I just had no idea how it was gonna do. I had no idea if people were gonna resonate with it. There was no like existing data that I could draw on for like how people would vibe with a video that's like about trans things, but not just about trans things, because it's about Lovecraft, it's about cosmic horror, but it's not just about cosmic horror because it's about Studio Ghibli, and it's like lots of different things. And so I'm glad people liked it. And yeah, and I know a lot of people did get recommended it, and I know it did get pushed to some people, which is really, really nice. It does seem like the algorithm came around, and like on day 3 or 4, the algorithm was like, I guess I'll show it to people. And then people watched it and liked it, and the algo was like, oh. So, anyway. It's so frustrating because the line that correlates with YouTube showing it to people is also the line of the views that the video got. And it's like, funny how this works. It's almost like when you show it to people. And what I also don't understand is that YouTube is profiting off of it like so much. So they should be like incentivized to show it to more people, but they don't always. So thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the follow. Sorry, my emotes are horrifically broken. I don't know why. I've tried to fix them unsuccessfully. Yeah, thank you so much for following. Allison says, video was fantastic. Thank you. I had caught one of yours before, but I enjoyed it so much. I watched your back catalog from one political philosophy MA to another. You're doing great. Oh, thank you so much, lovely. That's very, very, very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel so embarrassed that on the weekend I was like, I'm giving up. I'm gonna delete my channel. There's nothing left for me. Like, I feel so silly. I'm not gonna give up. I've been really appreciating all the kind words and the encouragement and the support. It's been really nice and very helpful. Sorry, just reading the chat. Charambar says, I need to get some sleep. Don't worry if you're still here. You go get some sleep. Okay, I think I'm mostly caught up on the chat. Richard Charles says, let's play D&D. I would actually so very much love to play D&D on stream. I think it'd be so much fun. Yes, okay. Yeah, and just to say, feel free to double post in the chat. That's absolutely fine. Like, we don't have a lot of house rules here, but if I haven't responded to something and you're dying to get a response, just feel free to post it again. Because it's possible I just haven't seen it. Frogthane says, love the recent video. I joined your Patreon afterwards, so I hope I help support some. I know you've supported me through my recent transition by your video, so thank you. Thank you, Frogthane. You're very, very kind, and I really appreciate the patron sign up. It is my absolute dream in life to be able to just be community funded and to not have to do corporate stuff, and to be able to make art for a living would be really, really, really cool. So I really enormously appreciate that so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, and Anatolian Plum answered my question about what stag dance is about. 4 short stories by Tori Peters. In the first one, everyone on the planet gets infected with bacteria that prevents them from producing endogenous hormones, and so everyone has to choose their gender and fight each other in a post-apocalyptic world for access to hormones. What? I don't know why, but I thought Stag Dance was gonna be like a memoir, like a nonfiction memoir or something. That's crazy. That sounds so interesting. It sounds a lot like Left Hand of Darkness, where the entire species of that planet do not have a sex. Sounds interesting. Yeah. Max Garzima says, hey Marceline, have you ever played Call of Cthulhu? If so, any tips on running the haunting? I'm the fellow that compared Lovecraft to my cousin on your latest video. Firstly, thank you for your comment. I do remember that comment. Secondly, I have not played Call of Cthulhu. Can you please tell me what it's about? I would love to hear. But yeah, I do not know what the haunting is. I have not played Call of Cthulhu. There's a few people who brought up Lovecraftian video games. And there's Lovecraftian video games referenced in the video essays that I responded to in part 2, and I really wanted to like expand my media list into video games, and I didn't. I just did reading and a couple films and TV things. Chevelle McDougall, you go enjoy your lunch. I hope you have a great lunch. Thank you for stopping by, and lovely to see you here. Yes, anyway, video games. I am a gamer. I love to game, and so I would have loved to expanded my media into that dimension as well. I just didn't get to it. It just didn't really materialize. There's also this new Lovecraftian video game coming out where you're like a doctor in a very like Lovecraftian style town, and you have these varying degrees of horrors come in and you have to like treat them. And I'm dying to play it. It gives a very passports please vibe to it, and it feels like very my type of thing. Also have not played it yet, but I thought it would have been fun to play that and comment on it in the game, but we didn't get into it. I should stream Passports Please, one of my absolute all-time favorite games. Yeah, I would love to, because I'm curious to know if you guys think I could like stream some games on YouTube, because I stream games on Twitch and I keep it separate for a reason, because I assume people don't want it. But I'm thinking maybe if I were to stream a more political game or a more like leftist game like Disco Elysium or Passports Please, then maybe I could bring that onto YouTube in a way that would kind of contextually make sense. I don't know. Yeah. Yes. Okay, sorry, let me keep scrolling the chat. Dilation, if you know, you know. Can't believe I'm talking about dilation live on stream. If you know, then I'm so sorry for you. Yeah. Some Saptica says I'd watch you stream a game. Okay, good to know. It's funny how English speakers pronounce my last name really French-like, even though it is the most stereotypical Dutch last name ever. Grozima. Cosima. I would not think that that's a French name. Um, but I do speak B2 French, so I'm used to French names. How do you pronounce it? I'm curious. Um, yeah. Call of Cthulhu is a Cthulhu mythos style TTRPG. I am hopefully running a one shot of it a week from now. The scenario that is called The Haunting. Ooh, okay, very cool. I have not played a TTRPG in a very, very long time, but I miss it. I really do. Yeah. I have played D&D for many years, but it's been a long time since I've been in a campaign. I've also played what TTRPGs have I played? I've played I think it's called Eclipse. It's like a sci-fi uh you can be in you can play as the nanobot species. It's very good. And I've played a Avatar The Last Airbender homebrew TTRPG. And that's it. I would love to play more. Um, Actually, I'm lying. I don't know if I've talked about this on stream already, and I'm so sorry for repeating myself, but I've also DM'd my own homebrew Desperate Housewives TTRPG. And it is every bit as ridiculous as you would suspect. It was the most insane, silly, stupid thing I've ever done in my life. And as far as I'm aware, there is not a Desperate Housewives TTRPG in existence, so I really should have licensed it and sold it or something. This was many, many years ago. But my friends loved it. Sadly, we never got to finish the campaign because we had a big falling out, Desperate Housewives style. We're all friends now, I feel the need to say. This was at university. Um, Grozema is pronounced with the G like the Scottish in Loch. Loch? Is that how it's pronounced? Loch? Loch? I'm gonna stop talking. And the rest is like Zama. Like Grozema? I don't know. Ik spreekt kein Nederlands. I think that's wrong. I don't think it's kein or klein. But basically, ik do not spreekt Nederlands. Yeah. I did the Dutch Duolingo for like a couple months. We didn't keep up with it. Yeah. Exactly, no way. Okay. All right. I'm amazing at pronouncing things. Joe says I would play a Desert Housewives TTRPG. I should bring it back. It'd be fun. We should do that. Ash, I'm glad you approve. It was pretty great. It was good. Would love The Last Airbender TTRPG. I have to say I loved it so much. It's my favorite TTRPG I've ever done. Sadly, I was a guest player on it, so they ended up deciding not to invite me to join the full campaign, to join the full party. I felt like I'd like failed my interview, but in their defense, it was very, very clear from the start that I was a guest player. They never said they were going to invite me into the full party once my guest role was done. It was such an involved and interesting world and campaign. I was playing as an airbender girl who was a rogue class, so she would use airbending to shoot, like to throw knives. So she'd be like using the wind to make sure the daggers like were always precise, always landed. And there was this evil firebender who was torturing spirits, and I befriended one of the spirits and helped it escape from its evil master, and then it became my pet, like ranger style. Anyway, nobody asked, but you know, a little nerding out for you there. It was great. It was really good. I felt so silly. I came to the very first session with, I kid you not, a blue arrow here. I was like in full cosplay, so ready for the campaign. And I joined the Discord where they were playing the campaign and they were like, yeah, this is a voice campaign. And I was like, uh huh. I was like, cool, I'm in my PJs, so that's great. And I was devastated. I was so upset. I was like, what do you mean I drew this whole ass fucking blue arrow on my forehead? Turn your cameras on. Turn them on. Um anyway. Hi. Hello. Hi chat. Um I'm very normal and not a massive nerd. Hello, Ravi. Thank you for joining the stream tonight. Thank you all for being here on such short notice. Really appreciate y'all showing up. Allison says, unrelated, but what is your favorite album to listen to lately? I am one of those girlies who doesn't really listen to albums. I listen to playlists and my, like, I listen to my day list on Spotify. I listen to my Discover playlist. And I listen to like my own playlist on repeat over and over again. And so I very rarely listen to albums almost ever. I tend to like have one or two songs from an artist that I love and I listen to those songs on repeat, but it's very rare that like an entire album I will love a majority of the songs. Like I'm very, very picky with music and like yeah, I think the last album that I can even think of off the top of my head was from years ago, and it's Nothing But Thieves, which is possibly my favorite band. And they had an album called Moral Panic, which is very like super undertones of left wing like lyrics and stuff, and I loved that whole album. I loved it so much, but that's not answering your question at all because that's not recently, that's ages ago. Should we bring up my day list? Okay, what's on my day list? Okay. My day list right now is Hubris Badass Wednesday Evening. Here's some badass, hubris, empowering, femme fatale, BBE. Bad bitch energy? Is that what that means? The way I did not even know what that meant. That's very bad bitch energy of me to not know what BB means. And confidence. Apparently this is what I listen to on Wednesday evenings. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that the reason I listen to this type of music on Wednesday evenings is because I'm trying to like get ready and hype myself up for my live streams. So we have this is a very sapphic playlist. We have Girly, we have Ashniko, we have Tuvalu, Lady Gaga, Upsal. I don't know if anyone knows Upsal because I feel like they're not super famous, but I love her. More Ashniko, Girly and Ashniko. Amazing. I actually don't know a lot of these songs, to be fair. Hey Violet is an artist that has recently retired, but I really love them. Ashniko. Snow Wife is okay. I feel like the best answer to your question is probably Snow Wife. Like, I don't really listen to her albums, but I listen to her right now. She's the artist I'm probably listening to the most. I love Snow Wife. I love every single song she's ever made. That's not true, but I adore her so much. I recently did a private dance class with this guy just to request a routine to Snow Wife, and it was worth every penny. It was great. It was really good. There is so much Ashniko on this playlist on my day list today. I was listening to the new Ethel Cain song today, and it was really nice. It was really pretty. It was not my favorite of her songs. It had slightly more of like a country vibe to it. I don't listen to country. I don't like country. But I still liked it and I still enjoyed it and I still listen to it because I'm a true fan. Oh my god, the Ashniko has a song called Clitoris the Musical. That's incredible. I've not heard it, was not familiar, but I may have to listen to it not live on stream. Obviously for copyright reasons. Anyway, hi. Hello. What is the chat saying? I didn't even know Spotify made day-based playlists like that. Yeah, so it's called the day list and it will change throughout the day. So like I'll have a day list in the morning, I'll have a day list in the afternoon, I'll have a day list like early evening, a day list late evening. And I really like it conceptually. Like it's firstly really silly because it always has the dumbest AI generated titles. And secondly, I actually find it like to be quite practical because it's like based on your listening habits at different times of day. So like I tend to have more chill stuff that I listen to in the mornings and the late evenings, and then more higher energy stuff in the day. So I like it. It's nice. Joe is indeed my himbo husband. Yeah, that's my husband, everyone. He is a himbo. I love him dearly. Sorry, what was this about? What are we talking about? Um Max has asked, who is your favorite in Baldur's Gate 3? As in who is our favorite character or who is our favorite player character? Like who is, yeah, favorite NPC or favorite player character that we've made. Um, oh my god. Not that I know who she is in theory. Okay, while we're talking about my username Mars in theory, kind of like little question for the chat, but I need help figuring out a new name for the channel. I was chatting to Neely from Leftist Cooks the other day, and she was saying that I need a new name because when you search Marceline, it's always going to be Adventure Time videos. And I've been struggling on what to call the channel because firstly I've rebranded too much and I feel a little bit embarrassed doing another rebrand, but I sounds like it's something I should do. Secondly, I I just don't really know what to do it as. So I was thinking about doing Mars in theory as the name of the channel because right now it's just the username. But the problem is that if you look up Mars in theory, you get a lot of results about Mars, the planet. So I'm worried that it's gonna be like uh I'm worried that it's gonna be the same thing as Marceline from Adventure Time. Um, so there's that. And then I was also thinking about doing Marceline in theory, but it feels like maybe it's a bit too much of like the tag is Mars in theory, then the username is Marceline in theory, and I don't know, maybe that's kind of a lot going on or like too much. So would love some opinions on that. It's something that I am trying to figure out. Um, do you think it would be confusing for me to change my name from Marceline? Do you think that Marceline is already not very good branding because it's just a name? Would love to know your thoughts. And no pressure. You guys are not my marketing team, which I do not have. You do not owe me such survey responses, but would love to hear some thoughts. Um, yeah. Hello, Maddie. Welcome to the stream tonight. The Mark of the Beast for my new branding, as in called the Mark of the Beast or 666. Red Planet Theory Girl is my humble suggestion. Well, I love it, but I I don't really want to be associated with the planet Mars at all. Yeah, Mars. If you don't know, lower drop. Mars is a nickname I go by in my day to day. So my name is Marceline. Um, but a lot of my friends call me Mars. Some of my friends call me M. There's also why the channel used to be called M Burkles. But I decided I didn't really want my last name up on the internet. It's like it's there, it's public information. I just didn't want it to be the brand. I didn't want like my classmates to be able to just like Google me and be like, here she is, which I think they can do anyway. I'm very easily Googleable, but BBE theory is actually an incredible suggestion. Or BBT, Babbage theory. But to clarify, this is not for a username. My username is Mars in Theory. I would like to keep my username Mars in Theory. This is just for the name of the channel itself. In my mind, Mars was short for the compromise for Call Me Marcy and You Die. Hear me out. Call Me Marcy and You Die as a username. What is that about? You can call me Marcy. I have some friends and family who call me Marcy. Like quite a lot of people in my life call me Marcy. It's not my favorite username. Not my favorite nickname is what I meant to say, but it's fine. It doesn't offend me. But I don't like Marcy with a Y. I have to say, I don't like it. I prefer with an I. It just feels a little bit nicer. I don't know. Papillon de nuit. Tu veux dire papillon de nuit? Tu veux dire ça? I love Papillon de Nuit, but I don't think it would work very well as a leftist video essayist channel branding. But I love it so much. It's great. It's really pretty. Maybe I should get over myself and use it. I don't know. Schmetterling speaks. Oh, sorry, I missed that message. That's why we're talking about butterflies. Schmetterling speaks since you have a butterfly next to your current YouTube username. I like that. Schmetterling. Schmetterling. Ich spreche. I forget how to say I don't speak German. I don't, though. I do not. There was a time when I was supposed to be learning German for work, and I kind of gave up on it. Angela says I'm mostly kidding, projecting because my friends call me Angie short for Angela. Oh, okay, fair. It's funny you say that because I have told some people in my life to stop calling me Marcy, but to clarify that, it was never that I didn't want people calling me Marcy. It was that I didn't want people introducing me as Marcy. I sometimes had friends and family introduce me as Marcy to complete strangers, and that kind of bothered me a bit because you're introducing someone they've never met before with a nickname, and I'm like, that's not my name. So they're like, this is Marcy, and I'm like, no, it's not to you. Like, I am Marcy to some people in my life, but not to this random person who just met me. That's not my name. Mostly I just want people to know that my name is Marceline because I really like the name Marceline and I'm quite fond of it. So when people say this is Marcy, I'm like, no, you gotta tell them my name. But as nicknames go, it is not my favorite. I prefer to be called Mars or M, but so many people call me Marcy, and I'm like, go off. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's just not my personal choice of nickname. I think partially it's also because Marcy was a name that I like soft sold to my family in like a stage of transition where my family are very, very unsupportive. And so when I was trying to get them to use a new name, I was like, maybe I can find some sort of in between name that they will be slightly more chill with than like going straight to this very feminine name. And kind of I was right. They were more down to pick that up. Um, so I think I have that slight association, but I don't know. But I really don't mind it. I really don't. Um, yeah. Joe says I quite like Joey. Almost no one calls me Joey. I can start calling you Joey. Yeah, it can feel low-key infantilizing to make that someone's first impression of you. Totally agree. Yeah, I just think it's nice to introduce people as their name, and if they like are somebody who only goes by a nickname or only goes by a middle name, then I think that it totally makes sense to introduce them that way, obviously. But like I know lots of people who have nicknames and I wouldn't be like this is that person as the nickname. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Um yes. Ash has redeemed Hydrate. If you're watching this on YouTube, the redemptions are a little Twitch themed, so I have to now take a sip. Take a fucking sip, babes. Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? How are things? How are staffs? How's everyone's week been? Have we done anything exciting? Is anything interesting happening? Are we reading anything cool? Um, Angela says, I started out going by a shorthand for my dead name because it sounded gender neutral, but then unapologetically started front loading my chosen name. Yeah, so that's kind of, I think that's a little bit what happened with me. I actually changed my name before I had transitioned, and I think a lot of people thought it was like a either me, I think people thought it was a gender thing or that it was like an egg thing when I told them it wasn't a gender thing. And to be so real, it really was not a gender thing for me the first time I changed my name. I changed my name to Quinn. Quinn is not my dead name. I used that name for like a little over a year, so not for super long. So there was once upon a time when this channel was the Quinn Burkles channel. And you'll see if you watch some of my older video essays from like a couple years ago, you'll see that like in the intro it says like a Quinn Burkles production, and and I always feel a little bit silly about that because I wonder what people think when they're watching it. Like the channel name is not Quinn, and are they like, is this person's name Quinn or is it Marceline? Like, what's going on here? But there's kind of nothing I can do to edit a video that's already up like that, apart from just cutting out the intro on a live video, which would look really weird. So, and I don't mind it at all. Like, I love the name Quinn, and it's a really special part of my journey. And I sort of, Quinn is now legally my middle name, so I kept it when I did my formal legal name change. So it's like a really special little place in my identity for Quinn. Um, why was I talking about this? Yeah, so Quinn was, yes, so the Marceline lore. So Quinn was the name I chose a year before I transitioned. So I'm not saying there was nothing gender going on with me, but when I made the name change, it had nothing to do with gender. And it was just because I was dating someone who had changed their name, and I literally was just like, oh, that's an option. Like, obviously I think it's an option, but sometimes in so many aspects of life you don't really know what options you have until someone else gives you permission um to do something or creates that awareness of something. So I know lots of people feel that way with transition, with different political ideologies. Like you know, like many Americans growing up, I heard about a lot of far leftist political stuff like communism, and I never learned what it was. I just learned it was this horrible, evil thing. And so, unless you're invited to learn, to have awareness of something, you won't. And it was like that with me with changing name. I was like, I didn't know it was an option. I didn't know that was something that you could do. I didn't know that you could just um, change your name. Thank you so much for the subscription, One Doof Blub. One Doof Blub. Should I call you Ron? Do you want me to call you Ron Doof Blub, or you want me to call you Angela? Which I may forget. I'm very bad with names. Thank you for the subscription. It's much appreciated. But yes, anyway. Angela works great. Wonderful. So yeah, I didn't know that you could change your name. So then when my ex was like, yeah, I chose this name, and not as a gender thing for him at all. It was just a name that he wanted, and he changed his name and he goes by that name. And I was like, what? I was like, we can just have freedom and agency with our bodies in life. And he was also the person who first radicalized me into a leftist direction. So I remember when I've mentioned this in a video, I'm sure. I feel embarrassed parroting my own video content, but he was the one who first was like, by the way, I'm a communist. And I was like, oh, I have to break up with you. I was like, oh, so you're a horrible person and you're just admitting to that. Now I have to dump you. That sucks. And I didn't tell him that at first, pretended like I had no reaction to it. And then like the more and more he explained his ideology and what his actual beliefs were, I was like, why does that make a lot of sense? Because like you're supposed to be this evil, horrible person, but you're actually making sense. And yeah, and that was this huge, enormous rupture that caused me to then question lots of things about the world that I lived in. Like, oh, I can choose my own name, and oh, maybe everything I was taught about the world was a lie. And so then I went by Quinn for a year, and then when I started to transition, it was like sort of the people thought Quinn was a gender thing. It was almost like the opposite. It was actually Quinn was dysphoric for me when I started to transition. So when I realized that I wanted to be more feminine, and when I started to identify as a woman, and when I started to present myself more femininely, I was like, people were calling me Quinn, and I was like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. And yeah. And then I changed my name again, and I felt super embarrassed about it because I was like, everyone in my life had to deal with me coming out as like 4 different things, changing my name multiple times. And I was like, ah, this is so embarrassing. But then it was also like, well, this is what feels right for myself. So we did it, and I did it. And Marceline has felt right for me ever since I chose that name. People in my life were always joking, being like, oh, you're gonna come out as something else like in next month, and in next year you'll have a different name, and all of this stuff, which was really like hurt my feelings, and wasn't true. And that hasn't happened. I think when you're figuring yourself out, people can get this impression of you that you're this like person who doesn't know who they are and who's just always changing identity, which is not necessarily what that means. You have to just sometimes go through a few different things to land on what's correct for you. It's a slippery slope. Next you'll be a table, literally. There's a very, very funny viral video of these 2 drag queens identifying as furniture, and it's not transphobic as that may sound. It's really, really funny, and I got to meet them recently, and yeah, they're great. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm very tired today. I hope this stream is interesting today. I've had a very, very busy week, and it's been so nonstop and so chaotic, and I feel like I have not been sleeping enough. She's tired. So if I am just saying absolute nonsense and nothing I say is making any sense, then I apologize. And Congratulations, you got to see this live on stream, and we'll just take the VOD down. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We will leave the VOD up. Yeah, I was a little bit worried doing a live stream while the video is still climbing might actually like cause the video to like not perform as well. I'm sure it won't. Quarter Mistress, hello, my love. How is it going, my girlfriend? Love of my life. Quarter Mistress is not actually my girlfriend yet. But she was my girlfriend for a day. It was really cute. We're in this video together. That may never go out. I don't know if that video is ever going out. Anyway. I think I'm way behind on the chat, and I'm sorry. Max was talking about Vistalia as a sort of Mars mirror. What's Vistalia? Robert had to go and I didn't get to say goodbye. I'm sorry, Robert. You're not here anymore. Goodbye. Joe says my dad introduces me as the boy. Very infantilizing and not entirely accurate. I feel like I introduce you as the boy sometimes. Is that different coming from your girlfriend? Do I need to stop doing that? There's a queer cafe out by me that has mugs hung up as part of the decor, and one of them says, "Drink some water, you bitch." I love that. That's great. That's really good. Siobhan says, having Kung Pao chicken for lunch. Oh my god. I might have to get Chinese takeaway after the stream. That sounds wonderful. That sounds so good. What's a gender asking for a friend? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know what a gender is. We'll have to read Judith Butler's Gender Trouble. We'll have to read every word and understand all of it to decipher that. Angela says, TBH, I dropped the sub because I was engaged in what you were saying and got ad interrupted. I am so sorry for the ads. I don't know if the YouTube people get ads, but I know they do happen on Twitch. And they are the worst. Hello, Zena. Thank you for stopping by the stream tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. To anybody who's new, we are really just having a very chill hangout today. I am sleep deprived and probably just spouting nonsense, but the aim of today's stream was to kind of like A, just have a little hangout, and then B, to also maybe process the video. So if you had any questions on the new video, if you had anything that you wanted to talk about, any philosophy or news you want discussed, dump it in the chat and we'll get right into it. We'll probably go for about another hour, maybe a little bit less. So we're just getting started, baby. So we'll see, unless I get too tired or hungry, which could happen. But for now, we're chilling. So let me know if there's anything you'd like to talk about. If you have any questions for me. I always feel so up my own arse asking that, but we're here on a live stream, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I'm one of those people who's like not good at carrying a conversation on my own. So I'm like, I need people to tell me what to talk about, what to say, or what questions to answer. Hi, hello chat. How's it going? How's life? I'm gonna get back into it. What are we saying? What are we saying? Max says my political awareness started with my grandpa dumping me with his lesbian sister because he couldn't be bothered to look after me. Well, Freezy, I'm very sorry to hear that. That's very shitty of your grandpa. But yay to being dumped with a lesbian sister, because that sounds like a vibe. My awakening happened so late in my youth. It was, yeah, fleeing a very conservative upbringing in California, and still working through that shame, still working through all that bullshit. We're doing our best. Siobhan says, growing up in a very leftist home was great. I'm so happy for you, Siobhan. Truly, I am. I really, really am. You know, I struggle a lot with jealousy around people who had leftist, especially trans friendly upbringings, because it's something I did not have and still do not have. And it's something that I feel, yeah, I struggle with jealousy around it. But your girl is in therapy. Do you know what? Little lore drop. My therapist in the last session was like, "You're so fucked up. I'm giving you more free therapy." She's giving me free therapy right now because of the. She wanted to give some free therapy away because of the because of the Supreme Court ruling that trans women are not women in the UK, and she's been giving me some free therapy. She's wonderful, and our last session, she was like, "Girl, you're a project." She's like, "Can I do my final dissertation on you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Am I that fucked up?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Cool." But I'm getting free therapy, and that's great. Sounds wonderful. Zena says, "I'm talking to my surgeon next month, and I'm asking about mermaid pussy for real." Excited for you, girly. I hope it goes well. Just so you are aware, there is only one surgeon in the world who offers mermaid pussy, and he is the guy that I went with in Colombia. But hopefully, eventually, more people will offer this as an option because I think it's a good option to offer. I know Marcy Bauer is a prominent SRS surgeon in California, is thinking about implementing it, but she has not yet. So right now, there is still only one person who doesn't. Anatolian Plum says Marceline is a really pretty name. Thank you. I really like it, and ever since I found it and having lived with it for years now, it feels very correct, and I like it. I think it's good for me. Nice. Zena says, I grew up in really bad circumstances. Not gonna lie, my life as a trans person has been kind of a nightmare. My love, I'm so sorry to hear that. I really hope things have gotten better for you, will get better for you. I didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. I don't think I grew up in the worst of circumstances, but I can relate to the like feelings of sorrow around having grown up in an unsupportive family and having grown up with difficult circumstances with that. I'm so happy for all of the people these days that have families who are supportive, and I have friends whose like parents have paid for their gender affirmation surgeries. I'm like, girl, I'm so happy for you, and it's really, really nice. And then at the same time, it can be really hard hearing about these things when your own circumstances just haven't been that. And yeah, I grew up in a uber duber duber fascist, far right, hyper religious community that verged on a cult. It wasn't a good time, and we're still working through that shit and processing. I'm always like, yeah, I've like obviously so recovered from all that shit because I'm like an alternative, like leftist trans girly, so I'm like fine and great. And every once in a while, my boyfriend's like, your Christian upbringing is coming out right now, and I'm like, fuck. So we still have some work to do, evidently. Evidently. Quarter Mistress says eating noodles and thinking of you. Dina, congratulations on surviving cancer. I'm so happy to hear that. Maddie says, that's how I feel about my nickname. When I changed my name to Madison, I usually introduce myself as Maddie, but people started calling me MJ, and I don't hate MJ, but I don't like it either. This is the thing. There's a big difference between like, you can hate a nickname, but you can also just not really love it. And I'm like, that's how I feel about Marcy. I'm like, you can call me Marcy. Genuinely, it's not offensive. It's not, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to correct you. I'm not going to be annoyed. It's no big deal. But there are other nicknames I like more. So I'm like, why would you call me Marcy when you have Mars, when you have M? Like, these are really interesting nicknames to me. Whereas like Marcy reads very like normcore Christian horse girl to me. I don't know. But go off. Joe says, nah, it's hot when my girlfriend does it. And I have no idea what that was about. Probably wildly inappropriate. I don't know what you're referring to. That's funny. Allison says, have to head back to work and read contracts. Thanks for answering all my questions. I'll definitely catch the next stream. Thank you so much for coming along, Allison, and thank you for the questions. I love questions on my streams. So thank you, and they were cool questions. And I hope that your contract reading is fun. I hope you have a good time. You may have already left already, but yeah, thank you for coming along. Angela says, so now I'm already forgetting who is Angela or Angelie. Says gender is fake and gay and real. Facts. Tonight's agenda tier list. Ash. We're not doing a tier list tonight. Fight me. I would love to do a tier list maybe next week. I don't really think a tier list would... I think a tier list on YouTube would be weird, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what the YouTube people want to see because I'm used to being weird and unhinged on Twitch. And I don't know how weird and unhinged I can be on YouTube, but always happy to poll the audience if, you know, listen. If... I'm gonna be really aggressive and say if 70% of y'all watching right now want me to do a tier list, I'll do a tier list. We need a high percentage. A high percentage. I don't know how to work this out. I don't know how to do a poll on Restream, but I'm open. Zena said this video literally gave me hope that I can get the kind of bottom surgery I want. I'm so happy to hear that, and I was really hoping I could like educate on it in the video, and it's so extremely important that we stay grounded as we celebrate innovations, and I wanted to be really careful in how I navigated that. I've had some people I've had a mixed response on Reddit because of fucking course I have, but I posted my bottom surgery guide on Reddit, and the Reddit girls did what they do. But I have gone back through the review and kind of amended some things because I do think that it's like very easy to glamorize trans surgeries, and I want to celebrate them while also staying grounded in the realities of what they are. So that's how I feel about this surgery. I think it's super duper cool. I'm really excited by it. I'm grateful for it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it exists, but I want to just be careful. I'm not so like, yo, it's the mermaid surgery where you become a mermaid, where people are like, I just don't want to like cause people to dive headfirst into the mermoozy. Hi. I don't want... Let's try that again. Are we gonna focus? We're not. It's just the rest of the stream. Serving blurred. Oh, she just came back. We're good. So what was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. I'm sure nobody remembers what I was saying. But anyway, I just don't want people to dive headfirst into anything. Um, Hi, hello. How are we doing tonight? How is things? I said I was sleep deprived, okay. But I don't want to be like so like be so like so overly disclaimery that I don't also give myself a chance to celebrate it and to be excited about it, because I'm allowed to be excited about it. We're allowed to be excited about it, and I think that we can celebrate it while also being realistic about what it is. Does that make sense? Um yes. Lester says, have you heard of slash read the book The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Laval? It addresses Lovecraft's prejudice from the POV of a black main character. I have not, but that sounds like something I should have included in my video essay. I haven't heard of that. That sounds amazing and super duper interesting. Damn, that sounds so good. Okay, little highlight to that to people who are more interested in continuing on in the discussion on Lovecraft's prejudices. And I was talking earlier in the stream about another video essay by Chill Goblin, which is called Lovecraft and the Reactionary Mind. So there are some other spaces where this conversation's happening, which is really cool to see. So there's some further viewing if you want it. Siobhan says, I made some art in therapy yesterday. That sounds wonderful. That sounds so good. We love making art. The other day, this girl that I have a crush on, wanted me to pose for her to draw me. And I was like, am I in a lesbian, like, European short film right now? It was crazy. It was great. It was really good. Ms. Bunnies are cute. Firstly, wonderful username. Says, hey, I'm new. I'm a 38-year-old trans woman, transitioned 17 years ago, and just wanted to say how proud I am of all you younger trans women. You're doing great, girl. Oh, thank you. That's really, really sweet of you to say. Thank you, lovely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the sweet words. Zena says, only if that's okay. I don't want to just drop it randomly. I Is this about, I saw some people suggesting you drop a GoFundMe link. You're very, very welcome to drop a GoFundMe link, girl. It's super duper in support of that. Don't feel you need to be like shamed, or don't feel like you're soliciting or whatever. Like, it's, yeah, very, very positive about GoFundMe's. And the only reason I was able to get bottom surgery was because people donated to my GoFundMe, and that's literally the only way that I was able to do it. And I feel eternally grateful for that. And yeah, mutual aid, baby. We love mutual aid, and I think it's good. I think it's important, and yes, always in favor of it. I just want to become mega rich so that I can donate to everyone's GoFundMe's, fully fund everyone. That'd be really nice. I would like that. Zena says, I've always been an authority hating little brat, not gonna lie. You're so real for that, and also same. And also same. Christian Williams says, what's your favorite Margaret Killjoy book? Love the most recent video, by the way. Thank you, Christian. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad to hear you like the new video. I'm like so overwhelmed that people have liked it, and really relieved, because at the start it was flopping hard, and I'm really glad people have liked it and it's resonated with them. It's like one of my favorite themes I've made, and I'm glad people liked it. I've actually not read any of Margaret's books. I listened to her podcast, Cool People Who Did Cool Stuff, and love it. I want to ask, my boyfriend has maybe read, have you read Margaret's stuff? He's in the chat somewhere. Yeah, the only stuff of hers that I've read outside of the podcast is the blog post that I quote in the video. So that was one of her blog posts on her Substack. I want to say the Substack. I haven't read her books. I would love to read her books. I've heard they're like fantastic. I've heard such good things about them. And I've heard, I think someone was telling me that they're quite cosmic horror-y. Um, oh, it just says that he already answered in the chat. Well, I'm paying so much attention. The lamb will slaughter the lion. Okay, I really, really do want to read her stuff. And I should have like linked to her stuff in the description of the video, but I do hope the video will send some people to her that weren't already familiar with her because she's so great and I really appreciate her work and her activism. It's like futuristic cosmic full core. That sounds so fucking cool. Um Max says, Marceline, are the tattoos just for cool factor or do they have meaning to you? Do you want to talk about it? Should we do a tattoo tour? Also, sorry, because sometimes I'm scrolling through the chat like separately and sometimes I see it pop up. So that's why I'm responding to chat like so out of order. So tattoo tour, do people want that? I don't want to just do it unprompted. I mean, you have asked, I guess. Um, do we want it? Booker, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. It's very, very kind of you. You're very kind. Um, 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 yeah, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I can be normal about this. Lower class warfare. Firstly, hello, welcome to the stream. Um, says woo tattoo tour, tattoo tour. Okay, all right. Okay, let's do it. Um, Oh, Frazee Zena says IDK why it isn't link. There's a possibility when sometimes when you post links in live stream chats, they get deleted as spam. And I would need someone who's a moderator to approve it. Alternatively, I might be able to bypass that. So if you want to send me a link to your GoFundMe, I'll put it in the chat, girl. I got you. I got you, boo. Yeah, okay. Okay, self-indulgent tattoo tour. Wait, first let me answer your question. What was the question? Um, are the tattoos just for cool factor or do they have meaning to you? Do you want to talk about it? So some of them are cool factor and some of them have meaning to me. So we'll start with the little hand. These are my most recent ones. These are my finger tattoos. They're pretty much my favorite tattoos that I have. And especially that I own. Like, yeah, I guess I own them. It's my skin. I these are cool factor. I just really like them. I'm really like butterflies for probably slightly obvious reasons, but I like butterflies and I like moths. And there's little like moons. Wait, should I have it focus on the hand? Focus on the hand. They healed really badly, which you can kind of even see from here because finger tattoos always heal really badly. But even with them healing not well, I still really love them. So I'm like, great. This is how do I do this? This is hard. This is hard to do. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Um, this is a little queen. It's really hard because the video is mirrored, so I'm like struggling to with how to move my body. This is a queen chess piece. This is really just as deep as I really like chess. I've always loved playing chess. Big chess fan. I wanted a chess piece that had like I wanted the queen piece specifically, and I wanted it to have a slight like tarot card aesthetic going on. So hence all the little lines. That's easier. The this is my second tattoo I ever got. The leaf here. This is a birch leaf, and the birch leaf. My last name means birchwood in German. My last name is Bergholz, which is the when my ancestors moved to America, they shortened it, but it's Beckenholz, which in German means birchwood. Um, and I wanted a little birch leaf that kind of like signifies my family name. Um, this is Leviticus 19:28. Um, this Bible verse means thou shalt not mark thy skin. Wow, I'm so funny and edgy, and no one's ever done this before. They have. Loads of people have that tattoo. It's a little bit cringe, and I don't care. I love it. The best part about this tattoo was when my family noticed it, and they had a fit. My sister was like, "Actually, you're like misinterpreting that biblical verse. That's like not what it means. It's about like pagan markings people used to put on their body." And I'm like, "Bitch, your whole sorry, I'm about to say mean things about Christianity. I believe in tolerance and I respect you and your beliefs. I'm traumatized by Christianity and I personally cannot say anything positive about it. So this Bible verse is literally just me being like, fuck you to my horrible Christian upbringing. Okay, sorry. This is a cat skull. I like cats and I like undead cats. I'm not neurodivergent. I'm neurotypical. Um I literally do not know what else to say about this. Side note, but the little skeleton cat in Divinity Original Sin, which is one of my all-time favorite video games, I want that cat as a pet and I love it so much. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. This is a throwing knife. Random, very random lore drop, but I throw knives. It's one of my weirdest hobbies. I haven't done it in ages, but I have a bunch of throwing knives, which are here, but you can't see them because of the pillow. And I like to do target practice. I've always been really into throwing knives. And there's a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little Q right here. And as that's just because, as we were talking about earlier, my name used to be Quinn. That's not my dead name. If you've just joined and you're like, did she just dead name herself? It's not. Um, but yeah, my old name before Marceline was Quinn. That's now my middle name. And so there's a little Q there for Quinn, which I still love because it's my middle name and I still love that name. Um, okay. How do? All right. Bringing the other side of the sleeve in. This is what's called a patchwork sleeve, by the way, for non-ink heads. Um, this is a fortune telling card I found at a vintage store in Auburn, California. And I found this little fortune telling card, which is also in the background of the new video, like in all the plants. And the snake like goes around it. Um, and yes. So I saw this fortune telling card and was like, immediately I was like, this is so cool. And then the lady running the shop who sold it to me was like, that would make a really cool tattoo. And I was like, you're so right. It would make a really cool tattoo. And so I got it tattooed like right when I got back to London and still have the fortune telling card, still really like the tattoo. And obviously it has meaning because it's like quite a gendery thing. So it could represent transition, obviously, but that's not necessarily why I got it. I got it like at a stage where I was like only kind of really even thinking about transitions. I didn't necessarily get it for like trans reasons. I just thought it was really cool. Before I transitioned, I was a drag artist, so I've always been really into transformation and performance of femininity and all of this stuff. So um, I thought it was really, really cool. And now I feel like it has even more meaning, obviously, now that I have transitioned. But sometimes I'm a little bit nervous that it's like outing me, which is ridiculous, obviously, but yeah, anyway. Um okay, wait. What's next? Okay, so this is Dimitri. Wait, this little guy here. This is Dimitri the bat. There's actually a story behind this too. I hope you're not regretting the tattoo tour. There's a lot of tattoos and a lot of stories. Dimitri, this little man, this little man. I got given a necklace of that little bat by an old friend of mine who is a practicing witch. And she's written an incredible book called Ashes and Stones, which is just so good. And it's like a very feminist book about the struggles of women accused of witchcraft throughout Scotland. And and So I got given this necklace of this bat from this witch, and my family found out about it, and they were like, "You have to throw out that necklace. It's been like possessed, it's cursed because this witch made it, and it's evil." My family are like extreme, like sect of Christianity, so they believe that like objects can hold demons, like really extreme stuff. So that's the upbringing that I had, and so I was like, not only am I going to not throw away this witch necklace, but I'm going to get it tattooed on my body permanently. So, yeah, lots of just like, I'm an edgelord tattoos. I'm going to rebel against my family tattoos. This is something amanita or something. I'm going to forget what this is, but it's a really beautiful poisonous flower. I thought it was cool because poisonous flower, that's pretty. Anyway, I really like rats. Um, I had a rat as a pet growing up, and I really like rats. I feel like this live stream is like my autism assessment appointment. Anyway, really like crows as well. Crow. The black rose. So if you're not familiar, the black rose is a libertarian socialist symbol. Could also be said an anarcho-communist symbol. So if you are not familiar, if you're not aware, I identify as a libertarian socialist slash anarcho-communist. That's the school of political thought that I vibe with the most. Lots of many other complicated beliefs that exist outside that one label. But that's my political philosophy. So I people watching my videos always think so many different things about what political ideology I hold, but there you go. That's it. So this is an anarchist symbol, the black rose, and specifically a black rose done in a similar art style to this, along with the black cat. These are anarchist symbols. I really wanted to get an anarchist symbol tattooed, but I wanted to get one that was subtle enough to where I wasn't likely to get myself into trouble. So I'm very concerned about safety as a trans woman in a city with a lot of violence, and I didn't want to be walking around with like um an anarchist flag on me, especially if I ever decided to get into more serious political on the ground work and stuff like that. So I decided that the black rose was quite a safe way to do that. And then I liked it being upside down because anarchy is about challenging unjust hierarchy and domination. Um so I thought it was kind of cool having it being upside down like that. And then we have, speaking of les papillons, we have le papillon de nuit ici. Voilà. Et en fait, euh, j'ai pris cette tatouage dans France. Alors, if I said that right, but I got this tattoo in France. So appropriate to call it a papillon de nuit. Papillon de nuit means moth in French, if you're not aware. Sorry for the random French there. But this is my little papillon de nuit. I got it in Nantes, France, and this is definitely a I think it's a cool tattoo. I really love moths, and I like this moth. I feel really getting the special interests right here live on stream. She speaks French. Ouais, je parle français en fait. Je parle très bien français. C'est pas vrai, mon français en fait c'est horrible. Je suis B2 français, je parle B2 français, alors c'est pas trop bien en fait. Mais je peux faire des discuter. I can have conversations, which are very simple. And I'm actually moving to France for a month very soon, which I'm excited about. Okay, so the rest of my tattoos, wait, is that all of the arm ones? I think so. The rest of my tattoos are on my leg. Um can I get my leg out live on stream? Is that inappropriate? I I'm trying to think of the best way I can do the leg tattoos while being appropriate live on stream. because this is not that kind of live stream. Um, Thank you for the follow, Seraphine. Thank you so much, lovely. Thank you for joining the coven. Thank you for following. Thank you all so much for being here today. Also, I feel like somebody else became a member. Lower Class Warfare gifted a membership. Lower Class Warfare, thank you so much for gifting that membership. It was very, very kind of you. And I feel like I completely forgot to thank you at the time. So thank you so much. Um, yeah. Aradem Royal says, get those gams. um, Aridam, firstly, hello Aridam. Little shout out. Aridam is a fantastic content creator that you should also follow. You should also subscribe to here on YouTube. Here on YouTube, as if we're not also on Twitch, but you know what I mean. Aridam, hello, my love. How are you? Great to see you here. Max, je parle français après 5-20 rosé. Moi aussi, en fait. C'est tellement plus facile comme ça, vraiment. No, but like literally, if I'm drunk, I will go off in French and I speak French perfectly. But if my boyfriend says gams, 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 you're not allowed to have an opinion here. Sorry, that's so aggressive. I love you, baby. Of course, you want to see these gams. Sorry, we're live. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this appropriately, but I have some very cool leg tats. So, also, I completely did not notice that the music stopped. But that's probably good timing, so I have to take out the headphones. Wait, that felt weird. I'm like got so used to them being in my ear. Sorry for the music stopping. I think the playlist reached its end, and I will put on some more music in a second. Okay. Couple things. Haven't shaved my legs. Don't comment on it. Not sure I can show all my tattoos. Some of them I might not be able to show. I will show the ones that I feel I can. Okay. Also, outfit reveal. Wearing a dress. It's okay. It's fine. I've had a busy week, so I just kind of like threw on the camera. I feel so awkward right now. Sorry. I feel like this is okay. So we're doing it though. We're doing it. Okay, first things first. This is a tilapia fish. You can barely see it. I'm so sorry. Little tilapia fish. I got that for free because someone was doing like a free tattoos for trans women thing. It was really cute. It was nice. Wanted to get a little tilapia tattoo because if you're not aware, my pussy's made out of a fish. I not that I would start an educational video essay with that. Not that I would ever do that. Um anyway, this is so unhinged. Let's go. Let's get on with it. Let's go. Okay, wait. The camera. Okay, let's see here. What's the easiest way to do this? Can I lower the camera? Okay, so this feels inappropriate, but this is Lola Montez. Okay, that I want to talk about. She's really my special interest, so we're doing it. I'm talking about it. This is Lola Montez. Sorry, I cannot also fit my face in right now. Lola Montez is in 1800s erotic dancer, and she seduced the is it the Duke or the King? She seduced the King of Bavaria, seduced him to push the entire country more left wing. She right wing factions formed just to protest her because of how left wing she was, and she famously fought back right wing protesters with a whip on horseback. So she's kind of the fiercest diva to have ever divaed, and she got banned from the entire country of Australia because she showed her pussy live on stage. So she's kind of incredible. And then she moved to California later in life. She had to flee to California, where she spent the rest of her life plotting part-time to become Empress of California while helping refugee women in California. So she is my icon in life, my greatest inspiration. I am her reincarnation. Anyway. in my fantasy. Okay, this is I'm not trying to be inappropriate here, but this is a really cool tattoo and I want to show it. So this is sorry for getting naked live on stream. This is the Queen of Swords tarot. And the Queen of Swords tarot is a she is a masculine woman who represents transformation, and she's often visualized with butterflies. So that one's probably pretty obvious why I got that. Always love the Queen of Swords. So sorry about the camera situation. Hi, hello. Uh, some of you guys left. Some of you could not handle the gams. Hopefully that wasn't too inappropriate. I apologize if so. I promise I'm very professional and very appropriate most of the time. Narrator, she is not and is not and has not ever been. So those are the leg tattoos. And then obviously the crows as well, because I wanted the crows to balance out the crow here into, yeah, anyway. Sorry, I feel like I've been doing tattoos for ages. Let's put some new music on and let me get back into the chat and respond to some stuff. All the skittishness about showing leg tattoos is making my Catholic guilt feel bad. I think I just way overthink being a content creator, and then also just the like optics of being live on stream. I'm just like, let me not make anyone uncomfortable here. It's deeply ironic because I am literally a sex worker, but there's something about being live on stream on YouTube to an audience that haven't necessarily asked for that I feel like a bit like, well, I hope people don't mind. Let's put on some music. Okay, I'm gonna find another lo-fi playlist, which hopefully is not just repeating the last ones we had. Hopefully these are okay. Hope the music is fine. Alexander5 says, wait, I thought you worked remote. I got a lot of jobs. I do lots of things, many things. Yeah, I currently work part-time in like 5 different industries and I'm still poor. Just trying to hustle and make it work. Yeah. Anyway. Daedric says, what a wild bunch of tattoos. Like a good wild bunch of tattoos? Like a positive bunch? Siobhan says, Marceline, it's always great when you go unhinged, unfiltered, inappropriate. Thank you, my love. I'm glad you think so. Lower Class Warfare says, yeah, and Twitch is pretty mean with the ban hammer sometimes. I've heard this about Twitch and it makes me nervous. I have never been banned, but or suspended or anything, but I'm always like, just make sure this is, yeah. I'm always just a little bit nervous about it. Zena says, I gotta get ready for support group tonight. I'll be lurking. Have fun, y'all. Oh, I hope you have a good time, Zena. Thank you for coming along the stream tonight. Thank you for the follow, Turtle Bite. Thank you so much. Wild bunch like a revolutionary manuscript. Okay, I'll take that. That's really nice. Thank you. I'll take that. I'm gonna scroll up the chat. I feel like I've missed a bunch of messages, so let me see. Alexander5 says, I promise I'll watch a new video tomorrow. Oh my god, no pressure. Zero pressure to watch it at all. But thank you. California could have an empress. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. I mean, no, California could not have an empress, but this was a long time ago and she was a diva, so I think she was just, you know, trying it. She was trying real hard. Hello, Timothy. Thank you for coming along the stream tonight. Timothy says, Marceline, you're an inspiration. Thank you. That's very nice of you. You're very kind. Um, Seraphina says, okay, this trans femme fairy kind of wants some of those cute socks. I I'm so embarrassed to say that I got these socks on Amazon. And I think I literally, if you just search for like cute socks, women, they pop up. I'm really good at fashion. I'm really poor, so I just sometimes you gotta buy from Amazon when you're really poor. Okay? Um such a good bread tuber. Um Lower Class Warfare says, oh man, I want to do tattoo share with people too. You should do it. I love tattoo tour videos and content, and like one of my favorite things to do with people in my life is to share tattoos, and um I love it. I think it's great. So I want to see your tattoos. Zena says, I want some Eldritch style constellations on my legs. That sounds really, really cool. Oh, we're getting back into the political chats that I missed. I feel like syndicalism and unionism are like more of a praxis than an ideology, like a socialist means to an anarchist end. I don't know. I see that. I see that. Siobhan says, love your giggle. I appreciate that because I'm quite insecure about my laugh, so thank you. That's very kind. Alexander 5 says, so romantic, so French. La langue d'amour. C'est vrai. C'est vrai. I too find the French language romantic, but I also find it really funny because half the French people I know are like, "Where's the logique?" You know, like, sorry, wow, that was anyway. But you know, like I feel like actual French people, it's like, just if you're spending time with French people, especially like certain accents of French and stuff and certain cultures, it's just like, and like so like guttural and like yeah, eldritch, if you will. But maybe that's also romantic. I don't know. Y'all saying you're more syndicalist anarchist than communist anarchist, and to be honest with you, I need to learn more about syndicalism. I know what it is, and I've done that thing a couple of times where I sit down to like process whether that's actually a better label for me, and I just haven't spent enough time finishing out that processing. When I thought about it, I thought I vibe with this. I like it. I just haven't really reached a like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I very much am a leftist pluralist, though. I really am. I really do think that we need to be, you know, yeah, I disagree with a lot of stuff that a lot of leftists believe, but I do think that we need to, we got some issues going on in the world, like we, you know, so yeah. I'm a pluralist, and I'm at least a little bit of a reformist, but like only kind of sort of. And I made this whole video essay about abolition theory, which I strongly believe in, and that's like, but I believe that's the goal, and I believe in making things better in even while striving for more, if that makes sense. Yes. Anyway. Black Rose is beautiful. Thank you, Daedric. Alexander 5 says the way you talk about politics is instantly recognizable as libertarian socialist, not gonna lie. I feel like a lot of people do clock me as ANCOM pretty early, but there are a lot of people on some of my videos that were just like totally got it wrong, which is fine. And oh my god, Joe just said baby show the flower. I completely forgot I have a tattoo on my back. Not me forgetting that. Trying to think. I'm happy to show the flower, but I think it would be quite difficult to do um, with the dress that I'm wearing right now because it's quite high neck. So I have a flower on my back right here. It's a California poppy. That's the state flower of California. So, you know, did I mention I'm from California? Um, but it is one of my favorite tattoos. I really, really love it. I think it'd be a little bit difficult to show on camera right now, but I have a photo of it on my Instagram if you want to have a little scroll. I did a naked photo shoot with with that focuses on it. So, um an SFW naked photo shoot to clarify. An Instagram appropriate. Meta allowed it. So, you know. Um, oh yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, about the like politics and stuff. I feel a lot of the people who misascribe my politics are right-wing people or like capitalists or liberals. Like capitalists, liberals, and fascists will listen to anything I say and be like, "Oh, she's a tanky Marxist who wants to live in a big brother authoritarian regime." And I'm like, "Bro, I just like ma'am, it's a Wendy's. Like, it's like I didn't say anything. You don't know anything about my philosophy. You're so defensive that, and you're so unwilling to like even have a conversation. Um, and I find that very frustrating. There's so many people on my video, The Fascism of Common Sense, who immediately commented in the comment section, I stopped watching as soon as I realized you were a Marxist. And I was like, firstly, I'm not. Secondly, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, these are the same people that will say, we just love freedom of speech and we love discourse and we just want to be able to have a conversation. And then like the moment I open my mouth, they're like, silence the Marxist. I'm like, shut up. Sorry. Feelings coming out. Um anyway. Bean Butt says, that was a really amazing video essay. Can't wait to rewatch both it and The Shape of Water. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really glad that you liked it. And thank you. I have to say, I kind of like I had to force Shape of Water into it, but I watched Shape of Water in my research stage for the video, and it's like one of my favorite films I've ever seen. And I've brought this up to people and they've been like, really? That's like such a lame, like boring, cringy, like Disney film. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I loved it on a level. I loved it so much. I really liked it. Um I think it has great politics. I I just I love it. I love all the characters. I love having sex with fish monsters. I really do. I'll say it. I'll be brave. Zena says I want to get a hermaphrodite tattoo in the style of Hades, which sounds so cool. Sorry, still going back through the chat. Max says I got not today underneath my surgery scar. That's so cool. I really, really love that. Alexander 5 says it's okay to hate some Christian practices. Absolutely. However, I do have to genuinely like work at not being super intolerant and hateful of that religion's like that everything connected to that religion just because of my upbringing. Green Sir says, I've only just seen your live stream, so I'm watching over an hour behind. But before you finish, I wanted to say hi, some love, and thank you for your wonderful videos. Thank you for such an incredibly sweet comment. And you know, you can always watch live and rewatch the replay because this will be up as a replay. But obviously, you do you, boo. Zena says, I love the style your artist used. Thank you. I've had a fair few different artists, which I was a little bit like anxious that was not going to look good, but I think we did okay. Gundam 7777 says, thanks for the welcome. Did you get the idea for your name from Marceline from Adventure Time by any chance? No, I did not. People do often think that. I have never seen Adventure Time. I got Marceline because I like old French names. That's my special interest, old French names. But seriously, I really like old names. I like names that are out of circulation. I got Marceline. I was familiar that there was a famous cartoon character with that name, but I had never seen Adventure Time. And I almost did not go for the name Marceline because I knew that there was this famous character out there and I didn't want to be constantly associated with her. Nevertheless, I certainly am. I'm very, very much associated with her all the time. And I just want to say it's totally okay for people to draw associations. I am an alternative girl named Marceline. I so get it. I would probably think I named myself after the Marceline, the vampire queen as well. If anything, I feel my style is closer to Princess Bubblegum, if that's her name. I don't mind that people think that I've gotten my name from Adventure Time, but what does get on my nerves a lot is when people don't ask and automatically assume that I did. Like, I get all the time people say, it's so cool you named yourself after Adventure Time. And it's like, why would you just assume that? Like, I literally didn't. And that sometimes bothers me a little bit. And I just generally have a pet peeve around people assuming I've seen things. So, like, I've mentioned a couple times on this stream, I grew up in a super duper extreme religious cult. So I didn't have television, I didn't have radio, I did not have access to the news. I could not read most books or watch most films. So my media references are very, very, very slim. And my entire life, people have said, you're so uncultured. You grew up under a rock. I can't believe you don't know this, etc. And because of that, I have a complicated relationship with like media in general. So I have a slight pet peeve with people assuming that that's the reason, and that I've seen it, and that I love the character, and that I must have named myself after her. It's just something that I think it bothers me when people assume. But I don't mind that people have that association because that's not anybody's fault. It makes sense. That's, you know, most people know that name through that character, so I get it. But yeah, I think that I honestly should watch the show. Many people have told me this, and I've probably resisted partly out of this, like, my hipster ass ego self that's like, I don't want to now because I don't like this association and I'm resisting it. But in actuality, I think I would probably love it, and I am just being a piece of shit. And also, I will say, I love being so like, no, it's not from the show, actually. I'm just like really interesting. But one of the things that did make me fall in love with the name was the song Marceline by Willow. And that song Willow wrote because of Marceline, the vampire queen from Adventure Time. So basically, I'm full of shit, and I sort of did accidentally name myself after the character, and that's okay. So yes, and not really, but sort of, maybe. Why did Restream put in the chat 500 times, congratulations, you received 100 messages today? It's like literally like 50 messages of that. Thank you, Restream. Not sponsored. Tonight's stream brought to you by Restream. The basic version that I have not paid to upgrade. Hence the watermarks and stuff. Kava says I think she actually wrote it for Adventure Time, right? Oh, I don't know that. Again, I haven't seen Adventure Time, but I don't know. But I know that it's about the character, and yeah, and it's a stunning, stunning song. Um, I love Willow's music. I really do. Um, Alexander Five says, sounds rough that if you don't know a lot of media, people call you uncultured. I also don't watch a lot of movies and series. Yeah, it's just been kind of like the story of my life is people. It's one thing, there's the uncultured comment, and then there's also just people being like, you're not queer. Like, I get that all the time. You're not queer, or you're not a true American, or you're not a true Brit, or you don't know what comedy is, or just these like people make these huge statements based on you having not seen the show that they like or not knowing mainstream celebrities. And I don't choose, like, I genuinely, all jokes aside, I'm not choosing to resist mainstream culture to seem edgy and interesting and like um to be hipster about it. Like, I listen to pop music. I do know a lot of big celebrities now. I do watch news now. I do watch a lot of mainstream shows and really enjoy them. Um I just don't I just think that I don't know, like I just don't like it when people just like make these huge statements about you based on what you have or haven't seen. Um yeah, sorry. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I don't know what people think about that, but it's just always been a slight pet peeve of mine. Speaking of what a massive hipster I am and how incredibly unique and interesting I am and how I have different opinions from everyone else. Um, the show that I've been watching lately, which I finished today, is the new Dune Prophecy TV show, and it's been badly rated. I don't know if anyone's here has seen it, but it's one of my favorite shows I've seen in a long time. It is so good. It's like early Game of Thrones level of good. I love it. I think it's great. And everyone's like, oh, but it'll never be the films. It's way worse than the films are. And I'm just like, we watched different films because to me, Dune Prophecy is so much more entertaining than the films. It is so much more interesting, so much more exciting, so much more expansive, such better written than the films, in my opinion. So I think this show is being slept on majorly. I have not seen it promoted anywhere. I haven't seen any ads. I haven't heard of anyone who's watched it. Um, but I think it is fantastic. 10 out of 10. No notes. Um, but yes, anyway, I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's not really been watched or done super well, but it has been renewed, which I'm excited about because it's great. It's also like all like a heavily female show. And I know some people will have feelings about that, but I feel great about it. I think it's great. I love it. I think it's really good. I feel like I'm being way too aggressive with my opinions tonight. um anyway. Um, Borg says, I actually think that Christianity in its base form is quite beautiful. The Bible preaches values of solidarity, compassion, and care for one another. It's a shame how its teachings have been abused. I disagree, but I do think that there are really beautiful aspects of Christianity. But I don't necessarily think that Christianity in its base form is beautiful. I think that the New Testament has a lot of beauty in it and a lot of positive philosophies. I think that the base form of the Bible is about a patriarchal control matrix. It's all about men controlling women and powerful men controlling everyone, including other men. So there's just a lot of the Bible is built on fear, unjust hierarchy, and domination, which as an anarchist, I don't vibe with at all. But the teachings of Jesus specifically, and some of the philosophies of the Old Testament, have some really beautiful moments in them. And I think that a lot of Jesus's teachings and a lot of his philosophies are super beautiful, super powerful, super apt to a leftist world. I think that if many of us follow Jesus's teachings accurately, we might actually live in a very leftist world that I would be in favor of. But I think, unfortunately, Christianity does just come from a corrupt space, which is the desire of people, of men, to control other people and to get money from them, and that's ultimately what that religion is. But I'm perhaps being a bit unfair because, yeah, like you say, the Bible preaches values of solidarity, compassion, and care for one another, and that is in the Bible. And those parts of the Bible I do like. I've read the whole thing front to cover. There's a lot of parts front to cover, front to back even. I should stop streaming. Someone take me off air. I'm at the part of the stream where I'm like sharing aggressive opinions and anyway. Hi. Not a big fan of that book. Read the whole thing. The Bible on my Goodreads, 0 out of 5 stars. Long, boring. No, anyway, just kidding. There are some good things. I hope I did not offend you, Borg. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Gundam says, I enjoy your vids, very insightful and eye-opening. Thank you. It's really nice to hear. Aradum says, you've never seen Adventure Time. I feel like you would eat it up. I unironically think that you're right, and I think I would love it. And I should watch it. I really should. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. Thank you. I need to change that font so I can read the usernames because I really like thanking people by username, and then sometimes I actually can't read what's being written, so apologies if my thank yous have been less personal on this stream. Yes, I should watch Adventure Time, but yeah, people are always surprised I haven't seen stuff, and girl, I haven't seen anything. I made SpongeBob references in the new video. I've never seen SpongeBob. I feel like my life in this world is like just performance of references that other people have made that I feel I sometimes need to jump on to like participate in the life or else I'm not allowed. Anyway, that got way too deep. Hi, are we having a good time? I'm not insecure. Lower Class Warfare says, I have strong feelings against state-run communism. My dad was from Latvia and their culture was nearly destroyed because of the USSR. I identify very deeply with that heritage. Yeah, I've gotten in trouble for talking about the USSR on this channel, so maybe I should keep my mouth shut. But yeah, I probably agree with what you think. That's all. One commenter was a little peeved on the new video's inclusion of Emma Goldman for reasons related to USSR and stuff. And I guess, okay, you know what? I would like to talk about this, but I just want to stress a couple things. If the person who left that comment is watching, this is no disrespect for you. As I've talked about on this stream, I really appreciate a plurality of leftist thought, and I really appreciate you leaving that comment. I have not read a lot of Emma Goldman, so can't make holistic claims on her. But the commenter said that it was unfair of Emma Goldman to criticize the messiness of the Soviet Revolution. And that triggered me a little bit because we're not as anarchists, we're not criticizing the messiness of historical socialist events. We can expect a revolution to be messy, precisely what Lovecraft was so terrified and disturbed by this messiness, this disorder. We can expect messiness from evolution. What anarchists were disturbed by were, like, you know, domination and hierarchy and mass murders and, you know, these really, really horrible things. And to dismiss all of that under the word messiness, I think, is a dangerous thing that sometimes leftists can do. And they can say, well, of course it's going to be messy. Revolutions are messy. And it's like, yeah, but we don't, like, I mean, it's okay to be critical. I mean, listen, I got my degree in critical theory. That's my whole gig. Like, it's okay. Like, you can reach a point where you're so blindly in favor of some degree of socialist implementation that you ignore the bad things. And I think that's not good. But yeah, anyway. Sorry, I'm so behind on the chat. Jaxus asked ages ago, is Luna an albino ball python morph? She was very cute. And yes, I believe she is. She is not my snake. She's actually my ex's snake. She's a sweetie pie. I had gotten to meet her before the video a couple years ago, and I love her. Thank you for the cheer, Getty Explorers. I will read out the message because cheers are a message theme, right? Oh my god, Yeti! I only just clocked that was you. Hello, my love. Yeti, I haven't seen you on a stream in so long. It's so nice to see you. How are you? How are things? Yeah, I love Luna so dearly, and I miss her. I just fell in love with her on set, and I was sad that she had to go. I was like, can I keep her? Filming with Luna was, I have to say, one of the hardest things I've ever done as a content creator, because it's really, really hard to deliver lines when you have a live animal on your body. And there was a couple moments where she wrapped herself around my neck, and I was having a tiny bit of difficulty breathing. And there's also a couple of moments where she started just like wandering off. Oh, that was the other blooper I kind of wanted to share on this stream, which I forgot about. I should make a blooper reel at some point. But there is this moment where she's like crawling along my shoulder, and she just starts crawling up my head and going around. And I just burst out laughing, and I'm like, I can't keep going. So had to retake some of those lines. And there were some moments where she just laughed at me, and I was like, no, you have to come back. But all in all, she was very patient with me, and we made sure to have a very small amount of lines for her because I didn't want her to be stuck on screen for such a long time. And so I was trying to kind of structure it in a way where we hit some key moments with her, but it wasn't like, yeah, she didn't have to be exhausted. So sorry, just reading. Angela says, I feel like far-right nutjobs still stick to the tactic of finding some random out-of-context Tumblr post by a college student or something, and they're like, behold, the voice of the left. This is truly one of the biggest tactics of the right wing. Fox News does this all the time. Who's that other horrible monster? Ironic use of that word. Libs of TikTok, they do this all the time. Ariel Scarcella, who I made a whole video essay about, does this all the time. They take one Tumblr post, one tweet, one TikTok, and they're like, yeah, this is what the left think. And it's like, girl, shut up. Yeah, you're so true, Angela. It's truly frustrating. Lower Class Warfare says, I didn't know you were from California. Sorry, I'm so behind on the chat. I am. I'm from the Central Coast. I grew up on a dairy farm in the Central Coast. Antonio TV says, what's your opinion on anarchist syndicalism? So I was talking about this earlier, saying that I think I feel good about it, but honestly, I need to explore it more thoroughly. So I've read ANCOM literature. That's what got me radicalized. What got me radicalized was The Conquest of Bread by Peter Kropotkin. And so I am still learning. I'm still learning. I think sometimes people see that I have my master's in critical theory and assume I'm better read or like better educated than I am. And I one thing I have learned since making video essays is that many of my viewers are much better read and smarter than me, and I'm okay with that as long as you are. But yeah, I am still forming an opinion and I'm still learning. Draxus says, I don't expect a revolution to be morally perfect, but like, maybe don't genocide anyone. This is exactly it. This is exactly it. I just think maybe we shouldn't genocide people. I know that's like radical of me, but I just think maybe we shouldn't do that. So yeah, I expect revolution to be messy, but there's messy and then there's like, girl. Also, as I talked about in my The Fascism of Common Sense video, there are current functioning anarchist societies in our world right now which are not genociding people. There are current ANCOM societies that are functional in practice, that are, you know, doing their best and having difficulties, but not genociding. So it's like, I get so frustrated with that argument. Well, historically, socialist structures have never worked. Socialist societies have never worked. And it's like, they're working right now. There's some right now in the world that are working. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, Twitch people get to make me do things by spending points. And Joey Seth has just redeemed Speak French. Et alors, je dois parler français maintenant. J'espère qu'il y a aucune personne ici qui parle français parce que mon français n'est pas très bien. Mais voilà, je parle français. T'es content ou non? J'espère que t'es heureux. Sorry to the people who don't speak French. Actually, no. I hope none of you speak French. That was particularly bad. It's been a long time since I've spoken French. Anarchisme. Ouais. Alors, communard. Ouais. J'habite à Revachol. I believe strongly in the Revachol revolution. Vive les communards. I have a Disco Elysium shirt, which nobody ever gets is Disco Elysium because it's too niche a Disco Elysium reference, and it always makes me sad. Anyway. I hope, was that enough French for you? T'es satisfait? Is it satisfait? I don't even know if that's a French word. C'était longtemps que je parle français, et alors mon français maintenant c'est un peu bad. It's petit peu mal. Petit peu. I wanted to say rusty. I don't know how to say rusty in French. Borg says, I love Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium is my favorite game of all time. Someone asked earlier about Baldur's Gate 3, and I didn't answer. I wasn't quite sure what the question was, and I missed a chance to talk about Baldur's Gate 3, which is such a shame. Jaxa says, I did notice you had Baldur's Gate. I mean, Pillars of Eternity. I mean, Disco Elysium text boxes on screen. These boxes actually are not Disco Elysium. They are World of Warcraft, but I've actually never played. But I am a huge Baldur's Gate 3 fan. I played it since the alpha. Did I play it since the alpha or since the beta? I don't know, but I played it for a long time. Love Baldur's Gate 3. That genre, is it the CCRPG genre or something, is like my favorite genre of video game. So Disco Elysium, Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity, Original Sin, these are basically my favorite games. They're so good. Jaxa says I wasn't gonna get to this was a WoW font. I'm kind of glad because I really liked the text boxes from WoW, but I haven't actually played it and I wasn't sure if people were gonna be like, what is that? Lower Class Warfare says free love is one that I like. I actually don't know what you're referring to right now. I'm sorry. Lone Paris says, haven't caught a live stream yet, can't stay, but love your content. Thanks for making it. Thoughts on anarcho-communism? The French was all right. Haha, don't worry. Oh my god, no, not the French person in the chat. Lone Paris, thank you so much for the kind words. I am an anarcho-communist. I identify as one, so I feel good about it. Yeah, the book that radicalized me is Conquest of Bread by Peter Kropotkin. It's an ANCOM text. It is like the ANCOM text. So libertarian socialism is just how I got into leftist politics and what started my journey into creating content around leftist stuff. So I do currently identify as an ANCOM, but I don't like labels, so I don't know truly what is the best labels for me. But Lower Class Warfare says, sorry Marcelina, I was speaking to Xena. Talking to other people? How dare you? Y'all are so welcome to talk amongst yourselves. It's fine. I'll just be here. It's okay. Don't even mind me. No talk. Just kidding. Sorry, I'm in a weird mood. Nobody should ever let me live stream. Okay, I'm gonna just go back through the chat. Vive le Khadijah. Jaxus says, if socialism doesn't work, why do we keep assassinating their democratically elected leaders and installing puppet governments? Literally. Girl. Boric says, may I ask what your ideal structuring of an anarchist society looks like? Is it built up by small communities, or is it entirely absent of any form of larger decision-making apparatus? So I will try to answer this, but I do want to say that I'm not an authority on this. I'm not as well read on this as I should be. A lot of my ideas come from Conquest of Bread, the book that radicalized me, and that in and of itself is a very outdated leftist text. I think a lot of Conquest of Bread is very relevant to our world, but I think a lot of it's not. So, like, Kropotkin writes a lot about, like, how great industrialization is. And reading that now, you're a bit like, oh, okay, well, like, yeah, but also, like, the environment and not destroying Earth. So, I am not opposed to larger decision-making apparatus. I do think I was having a chat with someone today actually where I was like, people think anarchists don't like leadership. Leadership is fine. It's as long as leadership is consensual. I think it can be. I think it is important. I think we need leadership. I think that unjust domination and hierarchy can be dismantled while keeping decision-making apparatuses. So if you can have federated communities making decisions. That can be a large decision-making apparatus, which is also federated amongst lots of smaller communities that has a wide involvement of voices, that has checks and balances, although I gag saying that right now looking at the United States, although that's obviously not a good example of anything closely resembling. It's a good example of democracy in a David Graeber critical of democracy in a critical of liberal society way, as in democracy does not equate to freedom or liberty or equality. Um, so yeah, sorry, I feel like I'm just kind of talking in circles, but I would I feel like my biggest goal of all right now is anti-capitalist and taking out unjust forms of domination and hierarchy. So I'm not like, I really like thinking about utopic societies, but I'm more interested right now in tearing down capitalism. Um, but I like the thoughts of, so Conquest of Bread's formulation is basically communities being self-governed but federated. So you can still have widespread decision making, trade. You can still have institutional medical systems and even forms of community self-policing and stuff like that. But you're doing all of that stuff in a way that is the community leading itself, the community with lots of voices involved in decision making, governing that community, and federated with other communities. So I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense, and I don't feel super satisfied with that answer that I just gave you. But yeah, I'm not opposed to leadership or large decision making apparatuses. Um, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, I've had so many conversations with other leftists about like lottery governments and I don't know, just like all these different things, which I find really interesting to talk about. It's like there's so many ideas out there. I think it is great to talk about it and super interesting to talk about it. But yeah, my biggest feeling right now is let's take down the unjust hierarchy and domination and challenge capitalism, which is horrible. And then we can look at what is utopia, if such a thing exists, what is an ideal situation. The nice thing about anarchist philosophy is that oftentimes you can build anarchist movement even while operating within a larger capitalist domination framework, like the Zapatistas in Mexico. They are not recognized by the Mexican state, but they still exist. They're vibing, and like I mean, this is not the same theme, but like I'm still going into women's bathrooms. You know what I mean? So I feel stupid saying that, but you know what I mean. As communities, we we can choose to self-govern. We can get together and say this is our space, and actually we're not going to do the bureaucracy, etc. And that's where I think a lot of anarchism's power lies. But yeah, maybe not the best answer. I tried. Thank you for the question, though. Fantastic question. Fantastic question. Um, Glad to see my boyfriend's educating about the Russian Revolution in the chat. Very good. Very good. Well done, baby. Oh my god, Yeti's lurking, but you're moving to Spain. That's so exciting. Dina says that Emma Goldman criticized specific issues and concrete situations in the USSR. Yeah, I do truly believe some people just are like, some leftists are like, no criticism, all criticism of any socialist movement that's ever happened is inherently bad. And it's like, again, my degrees in critical theories, I just believe that we got to question these themes even when they have leftist aesthetics. That's a very strong belief of mine. I am all over the chat right now. I have no chronological attachment to this chat, and I'm so sorry. I didn't say thank you for the follow. That was Nest Jaroma. Thank you so much for the follow. Um, Alexander Five says I prefer Kropotkin's short text Revolutionary Government. I haven't read that, but I would like to. Would really like to read more Kropotkin. Conquest of Bread isn't like, I don't know if it's his best work. It's just the theme that the first thing I read that radicalized me. I was a full neoliberal before reading that book and before dating the guy who gave it to me. Um, Communization theory is also an interesting movement. I am not familiar with that. That sounds really interesting. What is that about? Um, Nastia Roma says, had a wild experience a while ago. I'm Russian living in Germany and went to a meetup of Russian anarchists in exile there, and they were all so fucking transphobic. Oh, girl, I'm so sorry to hear that. Uh, as us leftists constantly discover, there are many bigots within a leftist space, and there is so much transphobia in the leftist communities, and it's unfortunate, and we need to root it out. Jaxa says anarchism has been the most internally consistent ideology I've encountered, and communism is a necessary extension of it. I think I agree. I'm not sure, but I think I agree. I'm pretty sure I agree. Yeah. Yes. And communism within anarchism is never what anybody is ever talking about when they talk about communism. And I tend to more often call myself an anarchist than I call myself a communist. In part because if I call myself a communist, people think something very different to what I believe. But communism communism within anarchy borders on, you know, community run mutual aid. I mean, it's not what people think of when they're talking about communism. And sometimes I'm like, do we need the rebrand? Other times I'm like, people can choke on the rebrand and get over the fact that words have multiple meanings. Anyway. Uh-oh, iffy use of the word savage in mutual aid. Ruh-roh. That's no good. That could have made it into the last video. Oops, there's always so many themes where I'm like, oh man, I wish I talked about that. Jackson says the problem is always unchecked power. I may have already read that, but I'm reading it again, if so, because it's a great comment, and I agree. Joey Seth says all anarchists do is come up with structures of leadership. They just need to be directly representative and recallable. Um, thank you for summarizing what I think I was like struggling to say, but that leadership that's direct representation, very important, and recallable, very important. Um, yeah, I think some anarchists are so shy of leadership, which actually really hurts us. And there's so much like, sorry, can I maybe like, can we do maybe like this logo for the activist group? But like, I don't want to be seen as like a leader. I'm just like, putting it out there, and it's like, take a deep breath, baby girl. You can step into a role. It's gonna be okay. Draxa says we're bottoms, yeah. Do I need to make this video essay now? The anarchists are bottoms video essay? Will, I can't believe you would say something so controversial and yet so true. Some of us have to be service tops for the cause. Thank you for spilling. Thank you for speaking such brave truths. Athena says voluntary rotating point positions are common in anarchist spaces, and I think that's a good system. I think that's very good. Very good. Yes. Well done. Do more of that. Draxa says all of the US's checks and balances are just different parts of the state. No branch is checked by the people. And exactly. Athena says trade itself isn't derived from capitalism. Yeah, so the book that I'm reading right now, this song is to elevator music. I mean, this place is called Laid Back Lo-Fi. Maybe I just do Lo-Fi Christmas beats. No. Oh my god, there's a playlist called live streaming. All right, let's see what the live streaming playlist is. I'm nervous. No, that's good. We should have been doing this. Sorry for the elevator music. What was I saying? So the book I'm reading right now, Dawn of Everything, which I quote a couple times in the new video. Okay, this music is good, but it's like a bit too much. That's way too much. Maybe I do want laid back lo-fi. Okay. Yeah, this is intense. This is like gaming streaming. Micro cheating by Auto Hacker. Sorry. This is good. This is what I want. Thank you. Okay. Dawn of Everything. In Dawn of Everything, they talk about the argument that capitalism is inherent to society. So the argument of like, capitalism is the inherent way that humans do things, by referencing early examples of trade by like indigenous groups throughout the world, etc. And being like, no, because trade is not inherent to capitalism. Trade is not the free market economy, but even back in the Ice Age, it's like, bro, shut up. That's not, yeah. So anyway, thank you for bringing that up. Highly recommend Dawn of Everything. They go into that a bit. It's really good. Joseph says experience and consensus. Like maybe the head of a school should be an experienced teacher. Yeah, I feel so complicated about this, even when working through Lovecraft's desire to have an intellectual ruling class. Like, I think expertise and experience are important things that are worth valuing in our society. And I think there is a way we can incorporate that without creating a system of unjust hierarchy and domination. But it's really complicated. Yeah, that'd be a good video essay to make. I'm interested in that as something to wrestle with. Speaking of Ancom Santa, excited to read where this goes. I cannot stop listening to Revolutionary Government by Peter Kropotkin. So many poetic lines. I need to read it. I really do. Borg says, yeah, big trap I fall into, and a lot of leftists is focusing on the end goal, utopic society, rather than thinking about how we get there. Getting better in this regard, though. I think that's a really common thing, and I think it's okay to be hopeful and excited and to even fantasize about future structurings of society. Like, I think that's completely and absolutely okay. Um, but yeah, I think yeah. And I also think again, in my last video essay, as I talked about, I do believe in revolution. I do believe in abolition democracy, but I also believe in let's do everything in our power to push society in a more leftist direction, even if that does mean reform, even if that does mean we're focusing on fighting capitalism more than we're focusing on creating our dream utopic society. That's just my personal belief, and I know lots of leftists disagree and have complicated feelings about that, which I hold space for. Khajiit has wares if you have wares. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. Lower class warfare says trade and bartering are essential for community, cooperation, and interdependence. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Joey says chat is wild today, feels like a Paris cafe in the 1700s. I really feel that, and I love that vibe. More like 1905, heard. Jaxa says, while I think I am still an anarchist, I've learned to chill out a little about modern flawed communist nations. I think I feel kind of similarly. I think you can identify as an anarchist while still challenging the propaganda around these communist nations. Like, that's something I feel really passionate about. Like, even though I've been really vocally negative about the Soviet Revolution, I also feel really negative about anti-communist propaganda around the Soviet Revolution and other communist movements throughout history. So it's like we can contain these multitudes. You know, fascism is and capitalism, neoliberal society specifically, has run the most insane anti-communist campaign. And I think we can challenge that propaganda while even not being communists ourselves, or even not being in favor of these states and what they were and what happened. Down with goofy leftists. I can get behind that. Yeah. That's why anarchists will never get on top. Essay about bottoms. Like, we have to do it now, don't we? We have to do it now. I'm gonna actually add that to my video list. Video essay about bottoms. So in this video essay, we'll talk about penetration and how being penetrated is related to power. I'm sure that video essay has been made, and I'm sure it's really good. And I want to watch it. Boric says, I feel like people normally understand best when I just say I'm a socialist. When I say communist, they think of Stalin. When I say anarchist, they think the Joker. So, thank you for the hydrate redemption. We'll do a little sip. So, as an ANCOM, I tend to describe my beliefs as libertarian socialist. And that literally means exactly the same thing, but it has way different associations with it. Sometimes I will also just say that I'm a socialist as well, as depending on what company I'm with, because that is, yeah, exactly like you say. I find it's really interesting describing myself as a libertarian socialist because there are a lot of, Republicans who identify as libertarian in America, for example. So sometimes I talk with some of my liberal family members who are, I'm saying liberal here in the neoliberal sense, not as in left wing, and who I really like, by the way. I like this family, but they're definitely like quiet liberal and on the more wealthy end of things. And I talk about libertarianism, and they're like, "Yeah, I so agree with everything you're saying," and it's truly that phenomena that so many of us leftists have, where it's like, yeah, you agree, so you're a communist, and they're like, what, how dare you say that? But I think, like, genuinely it helps challenge people's mindsets on some stuff. And I will sometimes also just avoid labels altogether, and I'll say, well, I just believe, you know, homeless people should have homes because we have all these empty homes. And people are like, you're so right. And I'm like, so you're a communist? No. But I use libertarian socialist a lot for that reason. Um, Depends on whether I'm also wanting to just like offend and annoy people, in which case I will be like, yeah, I'm an anarchist and a communist, like, choke. Um, anyway, um, Alexander Five says, sorry for mentioning revolutionary government too. I mean, 3 times now. I'm so obsessed. Do not apologize. This is a safe space. I have made like 5 video essays about auto theory. You're good. You're absolutely fine. Um, Jaxus says, I have to ask, were you inspired by Philosophy Tube's video where she is dressed as the devil holding a snake? I was not. I haven't seen that video. Yeah, I don't even know what that's about. I just was like, I'm doing a video about cosmic horror. I know that my ex has a snake. I think this will look really cool. I guess us video essayists have some similar ideas. I ran into this with this video where someone thought maybe I would have been inspired by Chill Goblin making a video about Lovecraft being reactionary, which I had also not seen that video essay. And then the other thing I ran into with this video is that there was a few points of the script that felt very similar to some parts of ContraPoint's new conspiracy video essay, which is fantastic, by the way. And I was honestly kind of devastated when I discovered this because I was like, literally, like, I had written most of my script before her video came out. So I was like, it was such a bizarre coincidence. So, like, when I referenced the article, The Paranoia in American Politics, like, there's bits of that are talking about Senator McCarthy's conspiracy theory-ness, and like, Contra brings that up, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was just an unlucky coincidence. And then I had to amend part two because I also talk about Heaven's Gate, and I also talk about MK Ultra. Both of things she discusses in her video essay on conspiracy. And I was honestly like a little bit frustrated when this happened. Like, it's fine and it's okay, and it's just something that happens sometimes, but I knew that people might watch my content and think that I was just trying to piggyback off a bigger creator or trying to, snipe views or something, which is just so incredibly far from what happened. And you can't, the I could prove it. I could bring out the timestamps. Not that anyone's asking me to, but I could bring up the drafts and the timestamps of when I wrote everything. But nevertheless, I know some people would just kind of like see that, make the judgment, make the assumption, and that's discouraging. But anyway, I really enjoy Philosophy Tube's videos, but yeah, I hadn't seen that one. I think I mostly started watching Philosophy Tube after she transitioned, actually, and I met her the other day. She was at doing a live podcast recording, and I was in the audience for the live podcast recording. Met her afterwards, told her that I sometimes get comments saying that I am budget philosophy tube, and she was like, "Don't worry, I used to get called budget ContraPoints. You're good." And I was like, I also get called budget ContraPoints. And we got into a little philosophy chat. We talked about we were chatting to this guy who was like a really cool queer activist dude, but like a bit liberal. And we were talking about, I wish I remembered what we were talking about. It was really interesting. I felt very intimidated um, chatting to her. Like, obviously I know how famous she is. And I never like treating famous people as famous because they don't like being treated that way. And I don't think I would want to be treated that way. So I'm always like, just, like people are people. I have a mutual friend with Abigail. I was like, I don't know. I was like, just be normal, girl. But the reality is, I have seen a lot of her videos, and she has inspired my work, and that automatically makes me feel like this, like less of a peer, I guess, in a way, which is maybe also born out of my own insecurity and stuff. Um, but there was this really awkward moment where the best thing that was relevant to the discussion we were having is doxastic anxiety. But yeah, oh yeah, we were talking about like British people are not their philosophy is keep calm and carry on. So British people are very resistant to progressivism. And it was an interesting conversation that I didn't fully agree with, but there was a couple points where I was like, yeah, I can see why you would think this. And I really wanted to bring up doxastic anxiety, which is a concept that was introduced to me by Philosophy Tube. And I was like, how cringe it is it to bring up, to reference her own video right in front of her. And I did it. And I low-key think that she cringed a little, which is fine. I cringed at me. I don't do networking events well. I don't do press events well. This was like a red carpet fancy pants event, and I felt so out of place. Getty Images decided I was famous enough for a Getty photo, and the entire process of them deciphering that made me uncomfortable, and automatically made me feel like this was not my scene. I was like, oh, you don't need to check my follower account. Actually, that's okay. You don't need to do that. And they were like, no, we have to. And I'm like, no, okay. And then they checked it and they were like, well, yeah, you just about make it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you, influencer gods, for approving me for a Getty's photo. Anyway, not really my scene. But I met Abigail. We had a nice chat. It was cute. She complimented my shoes, which were Laura Vitae, which is this really cool French shoe brand that I love. And yeah, very surreal night. I was so hungry on this night, like so hungry, and I was like, I am gonna really struggle to have a conversation with anybody. And Jaxa says, I have heard from some other YouTubers that they do appreciate being approached in a normal way. Yeah, I think like, I don't know. I'm friends with some like quite big creators, and I've it's like, they're just people. They're just human beings, and but to be fair, that the culture of celebrity is awkward for all of us to navigate, and that's okay. You know? I've had people treat me like a celeb, and I am very much not, obviously, but I felt discomfort around that. Um, and yeah. I felt really awkward talking to Abigail because everyone else wanted to talk to her, because that was the thing. It's like she was kind of like the most famous person in the room, and and so at one point someone else really wanted to talk to her, and I just like walked away because I was like, you talk to her, I want you to have space. But then afterwards I was like, did I come across really rude? Because I just left Abigail. I didn't even say goodbye to her. I just walked away, but I was like trying to like, anyway. Press events are weird. Influencer events are weird. I don't like them, but I not like in some like I'm above this. Like I have sometimes had some really good times at influencer events, and some of my best friends are influencers. But there's spaces I get so overwhelmed at and struggle to navigate socially. And I don't like promoting myself. And I feel like when I'm at these networking events, I have to promote myself. Sorry, okay, I'm ranting. Just to say, y'all, we have been um streaming for over 3 hours, and it's 10:30 where I am in London, so I need to go eat some food. So I'm going to be winding things down a bit. Um, you got a good 5-10 minutes. If there's anything you're dying to chat about, if there's any questions you have, now would be the time to get them out there. And I will try to catch up on the chat. I feel like I'm once again way behind, but thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I won't say goodbye just yet. We'll hang out for a little bit more, but I really appreciate you being here. Especially since I didn't promote it at all. Speaking of me being bad at promoting myself, thank you for coming. Every once in a while, you meet a power bottom anarcho-nihilist. Xena, you've had some real bangers in the chat tonight. What if I'm first? The chat tonight is crazy. Lower class warfare says, as I get older, I kind of struggle with labels. I've used them to gather a sense of identity over the years, but the more I look at it, those labels start to define who you are, and people can use those too. I think I feel quite similarly. I hate being pigeonholed. I have identified with a lot of labels throughout my life, many of which I have ended up feeling very trapped by. So yeah, I feel that majorly. Alexander, you may have already left, but said gotta go sleep. Thank you for coming along to the stream and for all your lovely chats tonight. Lower class warfare says, and I fucking hate being put in a box. Me too. Really, me too. Yeah. I've been put in so many boxes throughout my life, and it is the worst. I think Abby is used to people's brains shorting out. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's definitely in that position of fame where people get a little awkward around you for sure. Yeah. Lower class warfare says, have a good night, Marceline. Good night and good evening / day to everyone. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming along to the stream tonight. It's been lovely chatting with you. Hi, Zenplay says, thank you. I've only been here for 5 minutes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for coming along, and sorry that you're showing up when we're winding things down. Again, happy to hang out for a few more minutes. So if you have any burning things that you'd like to talk about, now is the time. And if not, that's also okay. And we can say goodnight. Jaxis says, okay, so I do legitimately have thoughts about the language we use around sex. Like, it's all about penetrating, not enveloping. I actually made an entire video about this before I transitioned, and there's a couple of videos I made before I transitioned that I actually feel quite sad that I didn't have the guts to, like, not the guts, but that I didn't feel comfortable leaving them up, and that's one of them. I got sent a PR book many, many years ago. I don't know if anyone here is aware of this, but I used to be a micro influencer before I transitioned, and um, hate that word, but was a very neoliberal lifestyle channel. And um, back when brands used to send me themes, and back when I was palatable. And anyway, one of the books was absolutely fantastic. Oh, I'm gonna forget what it's called. Uh, anyway, it was a sex education book, and it was about challenging exactly that. It was about challenging the language we use around sex and presenting new alternative um, language. And so it proposed, instead of penetrating, enveloping, devouring, these other forms of language. So it's about playing with active passive and challenging like gender stereotypes embedded in language and heteronormativity embedded in language. It was such an interesting book, and I made this whole video about it, and it is very much offline because it was way before I transitioned, and obviously it makes me feel dysphoric now, but it's a topic I find so interesting. I used to make a lot of sex education videos, and I really kind of miss doing sex education, and I miss making this content. And sometimes I kind of wish that I could re-upload all of my old sex education videos onto some new channel, and like, I mean, I look very, very different. And just have it be its like own thing that just like helps people, because some of those videos were really educational. Not to like wank myself off. Sorry, I say that a lot, and sometimes I forget how like wildly inappropriate that is to people anyway, but not to be full of myself. That's a much less inappropriate way of saying that. Um I know that those videos help people, and I had some people message me saying, I'm really sad these videos aren't available anymore. I even had people say, I used these in my curriculum, in my classroom. Can you please give me access again or give me permission to use them? And that made me so sad. And it made me resent, like, that's like one of the only situations I've had this tiny resentment of transition. It was the right thing for me. I'm so glad I did it. But I wish that I'd had the guts to leave everything up, and I wish it hadn't made me so dysphoric. And I have all of this creative work that I did for years. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. This whole library of creative work that nobody gets to see anymore, that doesn't help anybody, and that just is nothing. But anyway, just a little rant there. But all that to say, thank you for that comment, and made me feel very nostalgic for a second there. But um yeah. Hyzentle says, oh wait, sorry, your message disappeared. Worth it to just re-record them. Honestly, I simply will not be able to do that, just because I have hundreds of videos we're talking about here. I could maybe pick one or two to remake, but we're talking a colossal level of work. But the other thing is that I would say most of my old videos I am glad are gone. So there's a few of them, especially my sex education videos, that I love and appreciate, but they wouldn't really make sense on the channel anymore. They're not video essays, they're very short sex ed videos. And a lot of the sex that I did was centered around queer men, of which I am no longer part of that demographic, and I don't think my audience wants that. And but yeah, Joseph says, do you have any of the old scripts? Most of these videos weren't scripted. The way I used to do YouTube was like these 10-minute, put the camera on, talk to the camera, outline it, but don't script it videos. There might be one or two scripted video essays that I did make before transition. I actually made a video on incels. There's a couple almost video essays that I did make that maybe I could reuse those scripts someday. Yeah. I think it's so different to the scope of what I make now that I want to like completely redo it from the ground up and make something quite different. But it is so sad to think that there's just all this lost stuff, lost research, lost work, and it makes me sad. I used to have something called the Dead Name Archives, which is a playlist of some of my favorite old videos that I unlisted. and I had it available just for patrons, and a lot of people liked that. But I reached a point where I was just way too dysphoric about people having access to them at all, so I deleted that too, which I actually slightly regret, and I think I'd have an easier time with it now than I did at the time. But at the time, um, it made me quite dysphoric, so I took it down. Yeah, which, here we go. Jackson says, I really would love to see more people talking about this specific topic so that I seem like less of a little freak when I bring it up. I feel you. Yeah, I miss being in the sex education sphere and normalizing so many of these taboo topics. Hyzenthle says, all right, I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow and then I'm going to give you lots and lots of money at Patreon. That would be great. Oh, love that. Thank you. I just want to make art and capitalism doesn't want me to make art. Um, Simon says, loved the stream and the video. Thank you, Simon. I'm so happy to see more essays from trans creators. Trans men are a little underrepresented, though. Does anyone have any recommendations? I follow a lot of trans creators, and there's a couple trans male YouTubers that I watch. They don't really make video essays. I'm trying to think. I'm so bad with names, including usernames, and I'm struggling to think of the usernames off the top of my head. I literally watched one of them like yesterday, and I don't remember the name. He's really cool, and he does a lot of like political commentary, but he doesn't do a lot of but he doesn't do video essays. The other one, Swole something. Ah, fuck. There's a smaller trans mask left tuber who does really cool political stuff. And he's great. Um, I wish I remembered it's like something, it starts with an S. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, he's very cool. So there definitely are some great leftist trans mask creators out there. Swilitariat, that's not his name, but it is amazing. Jammy Dodger's great. I've met him a few times. He's really lovely and makes really cool videos. Yeah. Okay, my sweet loves. We're gonna end it here. Thank you so much for coming along tonight. Swolesome! Sorry. Swolesome. 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 I'm pretty sure that's his name. Very cool trans mask leftist creator, smaller content creator, makes really cool videos. Thank you, Standard Hunter. Okay. We're gonna end the stream tonight. Alexander Avila. Oh my god. You guys are just keep interrupting me with trans mask creators. We'll just stream all night. Oh my god, Trash Discourse is so great. Love Trash Discourse. They're blowing up right now, and I have been struggling with genuine like jealousy over how many views their videos get, but they deserve them 100%. They're fantastic, and really appreciate their videos. And they're such a great writer and so funny. Yeah, Swolesome was the one I'm talking about. Yeah, Swolesome's great. Really like his videos. Alexander Avila's videos are insane. They're so good. So great. Have inspired me a lot. I need to go eat dinner and not stay up too late. So I'm gonna end this here. Thank you guys so much for coming along tonight. It's been really lovely. Thank you for being here on such short notice. It was very nice to hang out with you all. Hopefully I will see you on another stream. I stream every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night I stream on Twitch. Sometimes I also stream on YouTube. Depends on whether or not I'm playing video games, because usually I stream video games on Twitch. But if you want to stick around with the weekly live streams, follow me on Twitch. Otherwise, I will stream more on YouTube as well. So yeah, every Wednesday night, usually around 7 p.m. London time. And yeah, thank you for all the love on the new video. To those of you who have seen it, I really, really appreciated all the love and all the support and all the nice messages and comments. And I, yeah, cannot thank you enough. Okay, I don't know how to say goodbye, but I need to just say goodbye. So goodbye. Bye. Thank you for coming. Tra. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here too. That's really nice. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Goodbye.